Teacher, can I cry?
May you cry?
May I cry?
Devil May Cry 5.
It was so amazing. I can't describe the game other than just fucking amazing.
Welcome to the Devil May Cry 5 cast, where
Yeah.
we'll spend the time talking about Devil May Cry 5. Then I'm gonna burst in with Toho, and Cvit won't see it coming at all.
Yeah, I won't see it coming at all, but... Oh! It's all I can describe that game as. It is everything.
That was some good video games.
It was everything I ever wanted and more. It was so amazing.
You know what? For the two people who are gonna care, put up a fucking spoiler timestamp. So
Yeah.
I assume it's gonna be like 2 hours into the video. So
Yeah, a few things we'll mention before we actually get into the Devil May Cry spoiler cast. So I was gonna have an audio version, like an audio only version, and I was gonna put it on SoundCloud because that seemed like the easiest place to put it that people could go listen to and watch it on mobile. Because YouTube decided years ago, hey, let's remove the ability to listen to videos with your phone closed, and now we're gonna charge for this feature. Which
and you cannot, mind you, you cannot buy this feature in in many places of the world.
wait, is YouTube Red not or YouTube Pro or
YouTube Red is not worldwide.
Is it,
For instance, you cannot buy it here at all.
Really? Oh shit! I have it because A, I like not having ads. B, I like being able to listen to things with the app closed or in the background or with my phone closed. And C,
Too fucking bad, I cannot. So, whoop-de-doo. People watch my videos on that thing, but fuck if I can apply it to myself.
yeah, and
Clown site.
And the third reason is YouTubers you watch get more ad revenue for you watching their videos, so it's a good way to just like support other channels if you don't become a patron, because you could look in your analytics if you don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's plus YouTube Red is a special thing on its own, and for the longest time, I didn't realize what it actually was, and then I looked up YouTube Red and thought, wow, this seems cool. I think I'm gonna get me some of that. Oh no! Looks like I'm not. Oh well, back to ad block it is.
Yeah, and then I want to talk about one more thing that I fucking can't stand before we go into DMC5 cast. On the topic of subscriptions that may or may not be worth it, Humble Monthly is a fucking scam, dude. That thing is such a piece of shit.
Speaking of things I cannot subscribe to, I cannot subscribe to Humble Monthly either.
Good, save yourself some money.
Okay, because apparently, since my only card is the thing I get over Patreon, which I get sent money to each month and cannot fill it up myself. For some reason, Humble doesn't accept those kinds of cards. It has to be like, I don't even know. I gave up 2 tries in.
You could just use PayPal.
They essentially told me to fuck off. No, I tried, but it was rejecting it for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't understand what was going on.
Might be because
there,
you in the Slav lands and they see that as key farming.
This is alien world compared to the rest of the planet.
Yeah.
Don't fucking get me started.
Yeah. So my biggest beef, well, not beef, but gripe with Humble Monthly is that they show you like the money shot games. They're the games you actually subscribe for. Sometimes it's all 3. Sometimes it's 1. Usually it's pretty decent value. Like last month or 2 months ago, it's 2 months at this point, was like Yakuza 0, Division 2 or Division 1, and then like some other game. I can't fucking remember. But so that you buy that for Division. So you buy that for, not Division, you buy it for Yakuza. And you get Yakuza, and then you're like, okay, I have Yakuza, and I saved some monies, and I got some extra games, whatever. But then you get to the games that unlock at the month's end that they don't show you until they unlock. That's where the scam comes in, because those games are always fucking terrible. Like, half the time is just games you never heard of. It's like fucking shovelware indie games. Sometimes you get good stuff, like a few months ago you got like Observer and some other things. But for the most part, like, you just get random shit. I remember 2 months ago, same Humble Bundle as the Yakuza one. I'm gonna pull it up right now. They gave you like Rapture Rejects, which was the Cyanide of Happiness or whatever the fuck that show is called. Like, you know, the YouTube animated series. With the Stickmen. They had a battle royale. That game is dead. You literally has 0 players. It sits at a mostly negative because they added microtransactions and everyone said, fuck you, we're not playing this game. So,
Why? Did they just pick out games by dartboard throwing, or
I don't know. Sometimes you do get some good stuff, but then other times you're just like, what is this shit?
weird?
Like Rapture Rejects, there's like some things you never heard of that may be okay, but at the same time it's like, this is shovelware. This is like fucking poopy. You just I mean, if people get value out of it, good for them, I guess, but I only got last month's because I wanted EDF, Vermintide, and Cultist Simulator.
I was attempting to buy that one because some of my friends were playing EDF and I thought I joined them, but I already told you how that went, so I got EDF off of some fucking key reseller site, because that's how we do things over here. And also, I was gonna get something off of the VR sale on Humble recently, because I really wanna try out Serious Sam, the first encounter in VR. But I feel like, as it is with most VR games that I try, I go into the VRAINS and then I get a headache a few minutes in if it's a game that has actual movement with the analog sticks, because the human body is not programmed to deal with that. So I kind of saved up on that. I still might get either Doom or Serious Sam VR if I have cash remaining by the end of this sale. But I don't think it's...
I don't think
VR
it's worth
in general. Yeah, VR in general is not really worth dipping into right now unless you just have money to burn or you're interested in the hardware.
Yeah, and unless you're like actively trying to do something with it or experimenting with VR, I say it is really not worth still.
I have
it's cool
had some
on
good
paper.
experiences with it, mind you. Like, when I bought my Oculus and tried out all the weird, funky new stuff on it that I could never do before, like Gorn.
Yeah, I was
or
gonna say
Robo
Gorn is like the
Recall
only
or
one that I
such.
see is like...
I played Robo Recall. That's the free one from Epic Games that was released basically, I think, around the same time as the Oculus. And
Is it
it's
only on
a
the
lot of
Epic
fun.
Game Store?
No, it's on the Oculus Store.
Oh, ew.
And it's really fun. It's actually pretty good.
I don't need
It's
any
a
more
decent
fucking
soundtrack.
storefronts.
I mean, you can kind of excuse a storefront for the Oculus, because it merges everything you could possibly buy on that platform into one app, so it's not too big of a deal for me. Like, I can excuse a different storefront if it's for a separate piece of hardware, which the Oculus is, so. But yeah.
Okay, time to start talking about DMC5.
Devil May Cry 2!
Okay. Do you know those creatures
When-
that defend DMC Devil May Cry for some reason? It's always journos that
Yeah,
like,
they really resurfaced recently
Yeah.
around DMC5.
I don't know why it's like
release.
that's the hill they want to die on. Like these types always defend the same shit, but then they give DMC Devil May Cry an excuse. I'm like, does no one remember how terrible that game is?
It's because the actual Devil May Cry series is icky, scary, sticky Japanese stuff. But that aside, I was pretty surprised by how well DMC5 was released, and I have a theory as to why, and I'll get into it later possibly.
It's because
But-
Inafune doesn't work at Capcom anymore.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of the game is way easier than the other Devil May Cry titles.
Oh
But-
yeah, it is. Devil Hunter is pretty easy, but from what I've heard, DMD is the hardest in the series.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. I've been playing Son of Sparta recently, but
Yeah, I've
to
read some
go-
comments in some places that are saying this DMD is the hardest one yet.
okay, looking forward to that. But to go back just a little bit, I was gonna say something like, where do you start with a game like this? But I'm gonna start with way before, just to elaborate on my history with the series. I would say I'm a fan, but not an enthusiast about Devil May Cry.
What does that
Because-
mean?
What that means is I am familiar to the series to the point where I have beaten Floor several times in the past, during the years on and off. I have beaten DMC3 once, and I have been tangentially exposed to DMC1. I have also beaten the reboot exactly once back in, 2013, and I think I was drunk through the entire thing, because that was the only way I could go through it, but I have never really invested myself into styling high on these games. I was never a particularly experienced player on any front, and I think the best way to attest to this is I was looking through some videos about DMC5 before its release, and some guy was critiquing the lack of inertia in the game, and while the video was very interesting and I understood what he was trying to say, I looked at it and basically my main thought was, okay, this is not gonna matter to me in the fucking slightest. This is something that the style beasts are gonna be concerned about, but me, the lowly peasant, has no concern for such matters. So, what I would say is, I love these characters, I love these stories, I love these games, the way they play, the way they control and everything, but I don't particularly excel at them, nor do I have any kind of extensive experience when it comes to subsequent playthroughs and higher difficulties and such. So I just wanted to summarize my experience with the franchise before this.
Okay. I would say that this game is definitely easier mechanically in some areas. Like, exceeding feels easier. Like, I either got way better at exceeding because I was just in the motion, or they made it so much easier. Same with Royal Guard. Like, I was actually able to use Royal Guard properly. But that's also the fact that enemy tells are better in this game, I think, than 4.
The tells are very telling. It's not just the small details like the exceeding and the Royal Guard. It's generally the way the game showers you with
Orbs.
Well, orbs, be it red orbs, gold orbs. Listen, I finished the
There's
game
so
with
many
17.
gold orbs.
I finished the game with 17 gold orbs in my inventory.
Wait, really?
And
I only found like I know I saw a bunch of them, but I just ran past them. I picked up like a few, so I had like 4 by the end of the game.
I was picking up every single one I could run into, and I explored a lot. Although, despite exploring a lot, I found only like 4 secret missions.
I found 1, and that was the tutorial one.
Oh, okay.
I saw the markings for them, but I couldn't find where the fucking step was, like where you had to stand. And I was
that was some The Witness shit.
You know, I was just like, I don't care enough right now. I just want to get through the game and enjoy it. So I'll fucking come back to them. I'll just look up.
I was taking my time. It took me basically 12 hours from start to finish. I woke up at 6 a.m., started a game, and I finished around 6
I had to
p.m.
take a break because I value my eyesight. So
I could, by the time I was done, I would close my eyes and I'd be seeing the targeting reticule and particle effects flying in front of me. It's great. It's terrible. It's great. But, God, I don't know where to start with this game, honestly. Just fucking... There's so much to talk about. Let's start off with the good stuff, because there's plenty of good stuff. So, start off with your good stuff, if you will.
This game is fucking everything I wanted and more. I have only very minimal complaints about this game. Very few.
I have some complaints here and there, and I don't want to be a bitter fuck, so I'm going to save them for later.
I just want to get them out of the way up front, because I usually just
Then I might do so as well.
Yeah, I usually just get the bad shit out of the way first. So, number 1, a few of the areas in the beginning, like in the hotel, a little too small.
Very cramped.
Camera did not like that. Camera did not like that. Should have been like God Hand. Should have went through the terrain. Because, oh boy, some of them hallways, little, not that much space.
Small.
My biggest issue is, so last chance for anyone who's still listening and doesn't care about and cares about spoilers. This is your last chance. Okay, I don't like Virgil's face.
Oh, just his face?
Yeah, I do not like his face.
I don't like his face either, but
I did not like how they used Nero's face actor instead of Dante's.
So that's what was so off. Like, his face was weird, but I couldn't pinpoint exactly
There's 2
why.
things I pinned. 1, they used Nero's face actor. 2, his hairline is too far back.
Yeah, you know what? Yep, he looks ostensibly similar to the reboot Virgil.
He does.
I hate saying that, but it is kind of the case.
I really don't like how Virgil looks. I saw spoilers and thumbnails on YouTube that I thought were what he looked like. Those look better.
Yeah, he looks worse in motion. And I think the funniest thing is that with a new face, his voice matches even less.
Oh, it matches even less.
Like, he already sounded really funny in DMC3 because his voice actor was really nasally due to a cold, I think.
Yeah, he was sick.
And that voice is never gonna be replicated again. But
he replicated it pretty well in this game.
Yeah, but what we got was such a hysterical contrast between voice and
God,
face.
I'm looking. Like, I saved some spoiler thumbnails that I saw on my YouTube recommended, and all of these look better. I really don't want to be this negative, but I hate how Virgil looks in this game. I really hate it. His base face. His devil trigger though is fucking sick as fuck.
His devil trigger is the Virgil Saurus from DMC made canon.
Yeah.
Well, the one we never got, but finally, it's real.
Yeah, but, I'll post some pictures on the video version of this, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, what I saw, these look so much better. The original one that everyone always talked about or shared around was that one made on V. That was just editing the Dante's face from the end of his trailer where he says jackpot from TGS.
Yeah, I've seen some edits of like Dante's face and Virgil's head in this game, and it looks way better.
Yeah, I hope someone makes like a mod that just allows me to power.
They weren't brave enough to give us Boomer Virgil.
They weren't. They gave us like he looks like
late 20s weeaboo Virgil.
We got like fucking Botox Virgil. He looks kind of like, I look at him and I look at like, I think like a mix between like Bruce Campbell and God, what's his fucking name? Who plays Tejanos? What's his name?
Oh God.
Josh Brolin? No.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Tejanos and Cable. Like, I look at that, and that's who I think of Bruce Campbell and Josh Brolin put together. His hair is also a little too slicked back, where it looks almost gelled.
He has a lot of forehead.
He has a little too much forehead.
But, you see, you're complaining about his appearance, but I think his character was done a bit dirty in this game.
I think they did it great.
Because, okay, I wasn't a fan of the fact that he appeared basically only in the last 3 missions, but I guess due to the way V and Urizen and their story is kind of related to him work, it had to be that way. But I still think V could have been his own character and they could have made a different thing for Virgil. But that aside, the game retroactively changes DMC1 Virgil to... They changed his story to essentially he worked for Mundus to get back at Dante, and now he's back and he just wants to get revenge and then he wants more power and there's really nothing more to it. Whereas I expected something a bit more going in. I guess that's my fault really, because well, not really though. DMC3, as ridiculous as it was legitimately a good story, and I think by comparison 5 is pretty weak.
I think it's fine. It makes sense because this is all Virgil's. Like, Virgil is obsessive with it. Like, that's why he loses in 3. And I think it further solidified it, especially showing with the Ava stuff in this game, which I thought they would go more into. A little sad they didn't.
Yeah, there was a lot of assumption from me going in that this game would kind of dive into their past and
it does on like a surface level. It's more nuanced, I say. Like, you have to interpret more of it. Like clearly Virgil is bitter that he sees it as his mother only saved Dante and left him. And
yeah, you'd think they would go a bit more into like the nuances of their conflict, but then Nero literally bursts in between them to tell them to shut up and fuck off.
Well, it makes sense because to Virgil, might makes right. So the fact that Nero beat him, he's like, I concede. People were complaining that he just stops and goes like, all right, we got to go deal with the demons. But it's more of like a way. The way I see it is that he doesn't want to like admit that he's lost and wants to like help his son. So he's just like, oh, fine, it gets in the way, and it especially helps that once you get to the secret ending, like that further solidifies it. Did you get the secret ending?
Yeah, of course I did. But the thing is, I think the family stuff in this game in general is a bit contrived overall.
It's a little on the rush side, but I do like it more.
Since there's also that whole thing about okay, so Virgil appears, runs away. Nero's like, okay, Dante, let's go. I'm gonna kick this son of a bitch's ass. And then Dante's like, no, he's your dad. What? You can't do it. He's your dad. And at that moment, I thought, okay, but why tell him that though?
Because it was in the heat of the moment. Because it was. I mean, I didn't like the scene as much as it could have been.
Even then, hold up. But then it goes further. So Nero goes into that into Nico's truck, and they're running away from the tree falling over, and he elaborates that that Virgil is his dad, or somebody else does, I don't fucking know, but essentially all the girls are going, no, Nero, you can't kill your dad, that would crush you, you're right, it would destroy him, he couldn't kill his dad, and this whole time I'm thinking, why? He's a dickhead, and it was never relevant to him who his dad is. It's not like the story of this game was Nero looking for his family or anything.
Well,
why would he give a shit at that point?
The way I see it is, and especially it further solidifies this. I keep saying further solidifies, but it reinforces that like his urge for family when he talks to Kyrie, because all Nero really cared about was his family. Nero didn't give a shit about saving the day in 4 at all. He didn't give a fuck about the town or the people. He just wanted to protect Kyrie.
I like the idea.
So his like idea of family, and
I like the idea of the stuff that happens in the last few missions. I just think it was a bit rushed and contrived the way it was approached. I am a fan of how he gets his DT back. I just think it was a bit silly that he got it after one phone call. Exactly, one phone call.
It's not the phone call, like, cause some people are just like the phone call triggered it. No, it's always been there.
It's not just the phone call. It's like the culmination of events and everything. But I think it could have been expanded a bit more if they gave this whole family plotline a bit more screen time rather than spending the 3 missions before the last 3 on just filler. Yeah. Going through the tree, but aside from it being contrived and a bit silly in moments, I think it was fine. Not far from the best in the series. I mean, 3 is still unparalleled on that front. It was better than 4, I would say, definitely.
I think it's fine when you like take in the series as a whole and look back at things. Like, this game is the sum of its parts. So the story, if you look at the story by itself, it does not feel as strong. But if you look at it in reference to earlier things, like the whole credo stuff, like he cares about his family. Like, his family is the number one most important thing. It has always been that. He only went along and did things in 4 because he wanted to protect Kyrie. He did not give a flying fuck about that town, especially at the end where they're like, "We did it, Kyrie. I did it, Kyrie. I saved you," and he's standing in a fucking burning ashes of his town.
The city.
He's like, "We did it, Dante." They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck at all.
That's fair. And so, I would be completely ready to accept this.
And it draws parallel, like, especially that like last thing before he gets the DT, where he still beats himself up over like he couldn't, like Credo died. I definitely think it would have worked a lot better if they
I didn't expect Credo to even be name dropped in the game.
I think it would have worked better if it wasn't like all front loaded into this last sequence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The idea is there. It's always been there. I feel like it's more nuanced if you just think about it, but on further inspection, it gets a lot better. But I could see where people are like, I don't know about this one, man. Like, I don't know about that scene, but I definitely do not agree with people who are like, the phone call triggered the DT. That's just being either like disingenuous, willfully ignorant, or just straight up stupid.
That's fishing for shit to get mad over.
Yeah, that's literally like fishing to be angry. But holy fuck, that fucking fight with Virgil. Oh my god, it's so amazing. Are we talking
the first or the second fight?
The first. The second one I didn't give a shit about. The second one
I personally I preferred Dante's last fight against Urizen over his fight with Virgil, but Nero's fight with Virgil was my favorite.
The music during the fight with Virgil as Nero and thematically is a great send off to the game, but gameplay wise, the Virgil versus Dante fight is the hypest fucking thing I've seen in a while, and I just finished Lingering Will. I was just like, this is so amazing.
Gameplay-wise, you know what I did? Halfway through, I said, fuck it, went Sin DT and shat on his face.
No,
Sin DT
like
is a bit ridiculous.
Yes, fucking, I'm gonna call it Majin form still, because I think it's cooler.
Sure, but regardless of what you call it, that thing, at least on Devil Hunter difficulty, breaks the game.
Yeah,
Sin DT is super easy to fill up. It's super easy to fill up. It does redonkulous damage. And, like, for instance, in the King Cerberus boss fight, I went in with full DT, went Sin form, mashed just a bunch of buttons with no brain involved, and King Cerberus's HP was down to 50% in the literal first 10 seconds of the fight.
Sin DT is a little too strong, but it has its drawbacks by the fact it doesn't heal you. So it's like
I was really surprised to see that Sin DT actually had its upgrades. Like, you can give movesets to this thing for some reason.
I'm so happy it does.
Yeah, it's good, and it's really funny that the most expensive one for 50,000 orbs just lets you power down from it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I assume, for Style Beast doing weird stuff with it. That's what I'm saying. I see a lot of these upgrades in Nico's shop, and I think, okay, this is really cool, but I'm never gonna use it because I'm not good at this.
Dude, so many fucking cool. Like, I fought Virgil, like, one-on-one. I only used Sin DT once during the fight. I fought him for 2 hours just because I kept dying to him on purpose so I could keep fighting him. Like,
really?
That's how much fun I was having. I sent you some facial reactions that I made.
Yep.
Like, I paused and was like, oh!
You were going pretty apeshit there.
It was so amazing and fun. I was just shitting myself. It's wild when you think that the Virgil vs. Dante fight is just the ending of DMC Devil May Cry done right.
There are a lot of things in this game that are just DMC done right. Specifically the fuck you.
The fuck
if you remember.
The fuck you. Not in a million years.
No, wait, was there a Night in a Million Years?
During the Dante vs. Virgil fight, once he's at like 3/4 health, Dante goes, "You'll never beat me, not in a million years."
Oh, that's petty, and I love it.
Yeah, you fucking. It was perfect for me because I fucking perfect royal guarded him, and he's like, "Man, you're not gonna beat me, not in a million years." And Virgil's like, "Say that when you win, bitch." And then he judgment cuts. Oh my god, judgment cut in this game looks so good.
Judgment cut is really good, and it's the funniest shit doing the Benny Hill run away from it while it's charging up.
Oh,
it's like, oh fuck, the orb, get out of the orb. But
you can stop him, but
yeah, I can't deal that much damage. What are you talking about? But I prefer the last fight mostly because of the music and the thematic behind it.
Oh, the thematic behind the final fight is great. I wish the game just like it really felt like the game should have had like one more chapter.
Yeah.
When it faded to black and it was them in the car, I was like, wait, that's it? What?
Yeah, I heard I was prepared to be disappointed by the ending because I heard from some people that it kind of got cut short, but it's not disappointing. It kind of wrapped up everything I needed to know about the story. It's just it's
just jarring that it literally went from the top of the tree and then jumping off to cutting to them and back in the bottom of the tree.
But hey, now Virgil and Dante can get isekai'd wherever the hell Capcom wants them to. Because you can just do whatever you want from here.
I love the ending of the game. Or the secret movie where they're just fighting in hell forever.
Don't you dare say it. Jackpot.
He's like, I got one up on you. He's like, check, where's your math? Where'd you learn to count? Oh man, it's so good. It's
just bros fucking around.
It's so fucking Kino.
What's your favorite Devil Breaker?
Buster Arm, but then it kind of got invalidated.
Yeah, it got complete. Yeah, what is there a point to Buster Arm after you get your DT back?
I don't know because I never actually used the charge up on it because I never wanted to break it unless I was like wanting to style beast with Tomboy and shit.
I keep trying to use Tomboy, but basically what Tomboy does is it just makes your weapons go apeshit, and I attempt to kind of get into it for some style, but I always get hit while using it, and it's really weird for me to control.
Just don't get hit, lol.
Just don't get hit, and also get used to no targeting, lol. But I think I was a bigger fan of the Mega Buster than I expected, because
I'm actually less of a fan because you can't aim it.
yeah, you can't aim it, but you do get a decent amount of auto aim, and the charge is really nice. I think by default Gerbera.
Gerber is really good. I actually stopped using Gerber because I felt I was relying on it too much.
Yeah, that's what I did with Trickster in DMC3. It's, like, you can dodge shit a lot easier with it, but the game was designed in a way that you can also dodge shit if you're just good without this, so yeah. I stopped
that game is meant to be
much.
played with the Style Switcher mod.
DMC3?
Yeah.
I mean, I never installed it and I kind of went through it, so, I don't know, I feel like, speaking of things that the game might or might not be built around, I still really wish they had let you change your Devil Breakers on the fly.
Oh god, that was my only other complaint.
It is so bizarre. I don't know if it was a deliberate design choice, or if they just thought nobody's gonna care. Because I sincerely don't believe it would make Nero particularly overpowered or anything.
What I think they should have done is, since to activate your DT, you have to hit any of the directional arrows on the D-pad when your bar is at 3.
You have 3 free buttons.
What they should have done is left and right on the arrows goes between your clip, and then down swaps them. And then up is DT.
Yep.
I really hope in, 5 SE, when Virgil gets added, that they add that. That's my only gameplay addition that I want.
I keep when playing as Nero, I keep pressing L1 to go DT because I'm used to Dante, and I keep breaking my fucking Devil Breakers.
Oh, I changed the button to be more ergonomic. So LB is my Devil Breaker, and circle is to break the arm.
Fair. Because
it's easier to charge while you're doing shit. It's like having the gun on right trigger in 4.
Speaking of Dante, he was my favorite character in the game to play until he got the Devil Sword Sparta. I mean, the legendary Devil Sword Dante, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's called
Devil
Dante.
Sword Dante.
Okay, Devil Sword Dante. And at the point where his combo list essentially changed completely. Well, not completely.
The only thing he loses is round trip, from what I can tell. He loses
no, he doesn't lose the round trip. Wait. Oh my god, he does lose the round trip. Fuck. That's what was bugging me so much, but I could not, up until the end of the game at all, I could not get used to the new moveset, and I was so relieved to see that you get the old 2 swords back. Is there a difference between Rebellion and Sparta?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I was super relieved to see that you get the old 2 swords back when you're done, because I could not get used to the fact that Dante just casually has summoned swords now. Not in the standard sense of summon swords, the way Virgil does.
Oh, it's so cool that he does. I love it.
They're really cool, but this is not how I'm used to playing Dante. And another thing that I'm objecting to in this game is it kind of lunges you into boss fights and scripted scenarios with new upgrades a bit too often for my taste.
You get Cerberus a little too late, to the point where you don't really get any chance.
You get Cerberus too late. You go into the fight against Urizen with Sin DT right off the bat. You get DT with Nero, and then you're immediately expected to fucking fight Virgil. So
I had no problem with that boss fight. I literally beat him with no difficulty.
I beat him with some difficulty because I'm bad, and I also basically forgot about Exceeding during that fight because I was getting too hype.
God, I love Exceed. It's so good.
I was saving gold orbs exclusively for the fights where I didn't want to break the flow of hype by dying. So I only use it in like the Urizen fight and the final boss.
I started using them when I was experimenting with getting hit with Virgil's things just to see what they look like. Like I used one after I already beat Virgil and went back and fought him. I used one just to see what it looks like if I died to Judgment Cut, because I always dodged it or stopped him. So I never actually saw what it looked like to land it. Dude, when he lands it, it's fucking sick. It's so
I don't know
cool.
I don't know what it's like on PC, but the PS4 has a lot of loading going on.
Yep.
Like dying took a lot of time to get
Okay,
back
not
to the
dying.
game.
Getting into the shop took a bit, which is annoying, but it's
The
understandable
game
because
loads the costume selection menu, and then you select the costume, and then it keeps loading to the stage selection or the customized screen or whatever. And then when you start, it loads the level, and it's like, what is it, Sonic 06? Come on.
the biggest issue, well, it loads a lot, and I understand why, because especially in the shops, because there's so much. Well, one, it's a pretty game. It loads a lot of unnecessary stuff. Like in certain areas, it loads things that it doesn't need to. But I understand why it does in the shop, because it has to load all the fucking previews.
Previews, yep.
It's annoying, but I understand. Hopefully, that gets taken down with updates in time. 5 SE.
I'm sorry. Now that we're talking about how pretty the game is, it's really nice from a technical standpoint, but aesthetically, it's a bit of a mess, I'd say. Because aside from creature designs, fantastic. Character designs, top notch. Everything. Particle effects, wonderful. The levels are so tiring on the eyes.
The tree
because
levels.
RE engine makes everything gray.
I think it's just reason. Like the tree is just too similar. I got lost during the tree level. The tree divergences Dante in one area.
Yeah, the divergence areas, I don't know why they're so ridiculously fucking open. It was really jarring to just see so many branching pathways, and yet still like you reach the end of the stage no problem. But yeah, the tree is ridiculously boring to look at. Only in the last stage does it get interesting.
The literal last stage, the Virgil fight is the DMC Devil May Cry final boss arena. Yeah, it's literally the same thing. That all the cool shit from DMC Devil May Cry is just in this game, and it's way better.
We haven't noticed how we haven't talked about V for like 1 second.
Well, I plan to get to V. I just want to talk about Virgil right now because that fight makes my pee-pee the big pee-pee.
It was a pretty big pee-pee during that fight.
Yeah, dude, fucking, oh my god, Royal Guard in that fight. Oh, it's so good!
I see now that I've been playing this game wrong, because I have barely used Royal Guard during the game. Also Trickster, because I thought to myself, who needs dodging?
Dude, I was
remember all the shit you can do with
I definitely wasn't like a style beast, but I was getting hype and doing everything. I had the claw going good. I was style swapping on the fly. But oh my god, it felt so, that fight. Oh, it's so fucking good. Oh, it's so good.
Kalina and 2.
I want to make it.
You get a laser now.
I beat the game. I felt satisfied. And then I went, well, now what do I do?
Well, I beat the game, then I went to sleep, and then I woke up, and then I went back to the game and Son of Spark.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I mean in the sense of like, what do I have to look forward to now? This was like...
Sekiro.
I guess. I'm not... I mean, it looks fun, and I'll play it, and I'm probably going to definitely enjoy it, but I don't have the hype for it like I have.
Yeah, I'm not like losing my mind over Sekiro.
I'm not losing my mind like I was losing my mind all this week waiting for 5 to come out. Like I was... The final day, I was just like every hour, I just said out loud in my room, dawn of the final day, X hours remains. Like a fucking mental patient.
I was basically, my game would unlock at 1 a.m. So I was thinking, okay, I can stay up and I can play it for a few hours, then fall asleep and then keep playing it after that. But no, instead sleep snooziness beat me at around 10 p.m. and I kind of fell asleep and thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll play it in the morning. And yeah, as I said, I woke up pretty much. I think I started playing it basically at the same time as you, because I saw your message on Discord that you're about to play it. So I was there at 6 a.m. And God, what an experience going through that entire thing in one sitting. It is the longest game I've ever beat without like turning it off. The first game I can remember doing that with is Happy Feet on the PC.
Oh.
It took me 3 hours. I thought that was a big deal back then.
Let me think of other things I want to talk about. So, because I'm basically using this to help get my thoughts out for my review, because I have no idea how I'm going to structure it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So V is really fun. Actually, he's not fun in the same way that like Dante and Nero are fun. He's so different, and I like how he just like pulls out his book and you can just walk around, and it's for a while I thought you had to hold RT to have the book out, and I was like, how the fuck do you play this bitch without Tekken fingers? Because you have to hold RT to hold the book out, hold RB to aim, triangle for fucking for Shadow, X
Yet
for
still,
X
you
for
can
Griffin.
in the end, you can still just mash square and triangle and get free S ranks as V.
I never really did. I tried to actually be stylish, but
I mean, I tried to, but there's only so much you can do with standing back and watching animals fuck around with things.
Well, you don't watch yourself. You watch the animals. Like, you only keep an eye on yourself just to make sure you're not going to take incoming damage.
Well, you're not, because you're so far away from the fight.
Well, I didn't play like super far away. I played like at a medium range. But God, V is actually a lot more fun than I thought. I wish he had more moves. I wish he had more moves.
Yeah, that's the thing. I started off with V thinking, okay, this guy's more fun than I expected him to be. Then going through the game, I was getting really bored. Like, the Garyon fight was so tedious, it bored me out of my skull. Like, I finished the Garyon...
There has to be a way to knock back the time bubble, because he mentions it. Like, he goes like, I'll use your time against you or something like that. And I was like, does that mean he could knock it back? Like, there's got to be a way I couldn't figure out.
There's got to be... I don't know if you can do that, but there's got to be some way you can make the Garyon fight faster or knock him down easier, because it took way too long and he takes so little damage from your shit. And aside from just going DT and going nightmare, there's not like much you can do for real substantial damage on him, and that's what bothers me about V's gameplay against boss fights. And I started thinking, okay, this guy's more fun than I thought. Then as I went through the game and it got later, I was getting really, really bored of his playstyle. And now that I'm back to Son of Sparta difficulty and I essentially have all of his moves unlocked, it's getting fun again. But I still think a character of this sort does not have much of a place in a game like this.
I think he does. I think he just needed more moves because he feels a little light on them. Like, each bird and Griffin and Shadow both only have like 3 distinct moves. Like, you have Panther has
they're also somewhat unresponsive on occasion. You ever notice that?
Yeah, because they reposition themselves occasionally.
They unsummon themselves, then they reappear, and sometimes they're on a ledge where you don't want them to be, and sometimes Nightmare when they do that, you just fucking nowhere.
I didn't have any Nightmare issues, but I barely ever used them that much.
I use Nightmare all the time. I mean, you can just recharge your DT.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't really use him because I wanted to fight him with Panther and Bird. I love Griffin in this game. He's great.
Griffin's great. I really wish V was his own character. Like,
yeah,
I'm not too much of a fan of his playstyle, but I liked him as a character, and I would have.
Dude, him and Nero like playing off each other so well is great.
Yeah.
Like, they play. Like, I did not expect V to be the goofy one in their relationship. Like, V was the fucking goofball and Nero was the straight lace.
V is the
Nero when shit was going bad. He's like, oh god, oh
gosh, oh darn.
Oh god, he's got AirPods in. He can't hear me.
Nero is the football jock and V is the theater kid.
Yeah, he's like, oh god, oh fuck, what do I do?
He keeps tripping over stuff.
Yeah. He literally just keeps tripping over his own dick, and he's like, "Oh God, oh fuck, what do I do? What do I do?"
Keeps tripping. Oh yeah, one thing that wasn't too clear to me about the story. Virgil separated into
Kingdom Hearts style.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts style into V and Urgil or Urizen, and
there is no Urizen.
Oh, his name is Urgil.
Yeah.
So, did Urizen not know he's Virgil's demon half or something? Because why wouldn't he, for instance, take V with himself to just have him around and eat the fruits? Because he didn't see
him. He saw him as a weak, useless human half. Like he even when he talks to Nero, he's like, "You will regret being born useless and human."
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit because he doesn't fucking care about him. He's the useless
so
shit
what
he
happens
didn't fucking
is,
need anymore.
I understand that, but what happens is, V is aware that he's Virgil's human half. Both of them are aware of who they are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but
at least to my understanding, definitely Virgil or V is, but like from the what I got is just Urizen knows, he just doesn't care because it's not important, because all he cares about is being a powerful demon, because he's he is the part of
V wants to get back inside of him because
he can't fucking
weak.
exist.
Yeah. Damn. What was another thing I wanted to bring up related to that? Oh yeah, Urizen's final form design when he sheds the vines looks great because he's just a Sentai villain.
Oh yeah, he's great.
It's a guy from Power Rangers who's probably called Abgronglox, and he speaks like a cartoony, fucking David Keith.
Yeah, the thing you mean Keith David?
Keith David, yeah, David Keith. Who the fuck is David Keith?
I was like, who the fuck are you talking about? So, one thing I really liked about the story is only once both halves of Virgil completed their goal was he finally able to become himself again, and then was he able to be on par with Dante and almost beat him. So Virgil or V accepts his human half, accepts his morality and like his weaknesses, and realizes the error of his way, and then Urizen gets the fruit, and he becomes his perfect power. Like he becomes perfect Cell basically. And only then, once those two halves who have completed their goal and their ambition are able to become the perfect Virgil.
And they're back to just being a dickhead.
Well, because that's Virgil. I mean, Virgil's a fucking asshole. But I wouldn't say he's, well, yeah, he is a kind of a bad person, but I wouldn't say he's like, he's definitely grown, especially like
killed millions.
He killed millions, but we'll forget about that. Those people didn't matter.
Don't worry.
It's not. Don't worry about them. They'll grow back. They'll grow back. So the thing, like, it really shows when, as Virgil's leaving, he thanks Nero, which at first was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. What the fuck? Why do you thank Nero? It's because that's like the way I see it is that is the V half of him who, like, even when V was like a sketchy fucking asshole, like, dude, it looked so suspicious. Like, everyone was like, can we trust this guy? What the fuck?
His name was V.
He literally just says bullshit that sounds so ominous. And
he also like says Virgil's one-liners pretty often. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have just been saying thank you, Nero, because, like, thanks for the arm, idiot. But jokes aside, I think, again, the whole story about V and Urizen and merging back, I like the idea.
There's a great Reddit post that I was reading that, like, made me think, like, further, which is basically what I just mentioned, that, like, further made me realize that, yeah, I actually really liked this. I loved V.
I don't think I'm eligible to make too elaborate of a comment on this as somebody who wasn't nearly as exposed to the series as so many other people. You, for instance. But overall, yeah, I liked the story. I just to rephrase
I wish there was more. There. I wish there was more, and not in a way where I felt like this felt incomplete. It just felt like I wanted to see more Nero and Virgil interact.
Yeah, it wasn't like, from what I understand, the way KH3 did it, but it feels like this is definitely the story they
We'll
wanted to
get
tell
into
with this
KH3,
game,
don't
and
worry.
okay, this is definitely the story they wanted to tell with this game, and the way they went about it is their own, and there are some problems with it, but overall, it's not like it's
I think most of the
insultingly
problems would
bad or
just be
anything.
fixed if the story was a little more spaced out. Like almost all the issues are just because it's a little backloaded.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Yeah,
everything
that's the word.
gets-
Backloaded.
everything is just
in
like-
the last.
Everything
edition.
is in that last chunk, which kind of makes it feel rushed if you don't really sit back and think about it. Like I was reading a lot of discussions and I was thinking about it like all day. That I'm just like, this it feels rushed. Like I don't agree with all the people who are saying that the DT was because of the phone call. No, it wasn't. It was always gonna happen. It's just like it feels rushed. Like if he called her earlier, I think it wouldn't have been as bad. It just felt like if he found out. It's just
Kyria doesn't even have a model. In this
yeah,
game.
that's what I was really annoyed at. I was like, we don't even see what Kyrie looks like. I actually didn't read the Before the Nightmare. Nightmare. I didn't read the novel. I only read some of the incomplete translation, like the first incomplete translation, like weeks ago from V.
I didn't touch Before the Nightmare.
There is so much. I'm so mad at myself because A, I got sick, and B, because I got sick, it took longer to get that fucking KH video out, that I didn't make my So You Want to Get Into Devil May Cry video, because there is so much shit from the fucking tertiary material that gets referenced in this. Like, Tony Redgrave by name gets talked about. Like, I was not expecting them to talk about side material.
Tony Redgrave gets a backstory in fucking Morrison's logs in DMC5 if you check them.
Yeah, which I was not expecting them to talk about the
No, I
novel.
don't just mean the first one that Nico gives you. Like
Yeah.
Okay, you read the other ones too. So
I'm just like, wait, they fucking... I was not expecting them to even reference any... I knew they were going to reference some things because Nell Goldstein is a character in this universe.
I mean, I'm just blown away that Patty is canon.
Morrison's canon. Morrison was in the anime. He's black now,
yeah.
but don't worry about it. His design is way cooler now. He's so much fucking cooler
fuck Kyria. I want to see what Patty looks like now. Like,
apparently she's supposed to be like really hot and everybody wants to date her at school, but she turns them all down because they're not Dante, because they're not Foxy Grandpa.
Isn't it the funniest thing that like a girl turns 18 and the first thing she does is calls Dante to tell him she turned 18.
And he's just like, yeah, no,
He
thanks,
just
hangs
can't.
up.
Okay, fuck off. Shut the fuck up, Zoomer. Good games.
Oh god, this game is so fucking good. It has its issues. Like the fanboy Mark in me wants to say this is like an 11 out of 10, but the logical like facts and logic man says this is like a solid 9 or 9.5.
Were you having any frame drops?
A few, but I had a really janky setup. I was playing. I was forcing it onto my. So I played on PC, but I didn't want to play on my PC monitor. So I hooked my PC up to my TV and forced it to play on my 60-inch TV in a resolution the game clearly doesn't support. And I was running everything at max. Probably shouldn't have. I need to upgrade my rig. It's getting a little outdated now. I only have like a 970. The processor needs changing. The motherboard probably needs changing too. I want to get a 1080 Ti, but they're kind of expensive, and I would have to like commit like 2 whole YouTube paychecks to it, probably.
I was playing on a PS4, on a big-ass TV, with HDR and everything, and for the most part it ran fine, but during the shit when a lot of stuff was happening, the game would chug to the point where I would just be mashing buttons hoping to get out of shit.
Really? I did not have any issues like that at all.
It was weird. It was in like...
the only time I ever had frame rate drops was with V, because he has so many particle effects.
I had frame drops during the King Cerberus fight a lot for some reason.
No, I don't remember any of that. Yeah, I definitely...
That was... I think I really want to bring up, because of this, because it was like prevalent during that too, was the weird little multiplayer missions. You can really like... ran into dudes during those? Because there's like
I didn't
2
run
or
into
3
anybody because I set it to friends only, hoping that I'd play with like
okay.
Airy or Vape, because they were
Okay.
also playing at the same time as me. But they were clearly Vape hasn't finished the game since I talked to him, so he was like nowhere near me. He isn't done with the game yet, and Airy I think probably finished it before me or was ahead of me because he got it earlier than I did.
It's essentially Journey, but it's a fucking stylish action game. So you just casually
I'm
run
really
into
hoping
people.
that because Bloody Palace is delayed, it's only because they're making it co-op.
I mean, that'd be cool.
That'd be
but,
so fucking cool.
But listen, there's this weird thing where the game, at the end of the co-op mission, the game will ask you to rate the guy you were playing with, and that's fine and all, but sometimes it asks you to do it in missions where you didn't even see the guy. Like, you'd finish one of those diverging point missions, and as you know,
You actually can see them. You just have to look.
you have to look really hard sometimes.
Also, you have to be in
because
sync with them because if you're off exploring, you're gonna miss them.
And it just asks, but wait, there are, I'm absolutely sure there are missions that don't take place in the same time or the same place as the other character, yet still at the end it asks me to
But which
rate the guy
ones?
that I didn't even
'Cause
see.
I
I don't recall.
Since I played with nobody, the AI was always there where I was.
Yeah, starring the DMC crew.
Yeah. One time it said starring my own Steam name twice.
It's you!
Because it was the diverging point where you play as it was the one where I played as Nero, because Nero you see both Dante and V and like the side things because you're in the center. As each of them you only see like one or the other. So
And I love how, because there's no distinct communication feature in the game, when I ran into this dude, we just kind of spammed taunts at each other to let each other
there's
know,
like
hey,
apparently
I see you.
I know I know the DMC sub was trying to push it. I haven't been to V in a while because the DMC threads have just been filled with spoilers.
Posting? Oh,
Yeah,
spoilers.
spoilers. So I just stopped going as soon as the game got leaked, or not leaked, but someone stole it from the back of the store. Just took it from the back of the store once they were, because the fucking employees just did that. I was like legit ready to go on like a manhunt to find someone who would near me, but I just didn't want to leave my house. So I was like, I'll just wait, and waiting I did. I was barely spoiled on the game. I knew Nero had a DT. I mean, it's obvious from the trailer, and I knew he had some sort of. I accidentally clicked a GIF. And then I saw it for like a split second. Like literally I just saw blue behind him. And I was like, nope, closed it. Didn't.
I didn't see jack shit. I also remember your theory during one of the trailers where it looks like Nero is cutting at Urizen in an
Yeah, I
X
was
shape.
wrong with that. I was
The moment I saw that scene, I thought, oh, Cvit was wrong. So, like, the theory was Cvit thought that, actually, why am I explaining it? You explain it.
Yeah, so when I saw the trailer, it was the incomplete Hyde trailer, the one that was like it's called like Hyde compilation. It's like not even a minute long. It's not the full Hyde trailer because that's like 4 minutes. So at the end of that one, it looks like Nero's jumping at Urizen in the chair and he's doing like an X cut motion, and I was like, we know already that they edited the fucking trailer footage so they wouldn't spoil things. Like when he's fucking at one point in the game they changed it from the trailer so they wouldn't spoil shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if they fucking got the Yamato back? What if he got it back and he's X-cutting with the Red Queen and the Yamato at Urizen, and that's how he's gonna beat him? And I was like, that is so fucking Kino. That'd be so cool. Yeah, he's just dual wielding. And I was just like, that would be so cool.
And speaking of fighting with Urizen, it is the funniest shit that you can just beat him in the prologue mission.
I love
and
how
the game
like
ends.
nonchalant Urizen is. It's kind of a boring fight because of it, but thematically I love how bored he is just like fighting you in his chair. He's just like, fuck off, peon.
Go over. But you can just beat the game right then and there. It's hilarious.
And then
like,
the usurper of the throne
You're not
was
gonna be
defeated.
able to do it, but you can.
It's really difficult the first time.
It is
if you don't have
extremely
anything.
difficult. I mean, I tried again. I mean, admittedly, it was on Son of Sparta mode, but I got in a lot of hits on that shield. I don't know what happens after you break it. I assume you just fight him like physically directly, but I tried it. It didn't work, but I looked it up, and it is just amazing that you can do that.
The thing I'm a little disappointed in is Trish and Lady don't get much to do in this game.
Yeah, Trish and Lady are there to show you their butt, and that's fine. It's a good butt. Trish gets more screen time and actually has some pretty good lines. And
oh yeah, she has some great moments, but like Lady doesn't do anything in this game. That's a shame.
Lady's there to show your butt.
Yeah, show her butt and has some nice jiggle because she is in a fucking jumpsuit and it looks funny.
You know what? Lady could have just as well exclusively been a character in DMC3, and we would like be at no loss, because in DMC4 again she was there for
she shows up at the end, and I don't like her DMC4 design. I love her DMC3 or DMC5 design. I love what the boots and her dumb goofy my first day at school smile. I love that. It's so endearing. I love it.
But like, okay, so Lady in 4 didn't do much besides like talk to Dante. She also didn't play amazingly well in SE.
She had some stuff going on, but she was pretty, she's kind of boring.
And then again, she does nothing in EC5. So like, you could have just as well saved this character as like her own thing in DMC3, and we would be at no loss. But fucking whatever. Nico's great though. I love Nico. Apparently, did you hear that you can allegedly turn off the lens flare to see a lady's butt completely in that one cutscene?
Peeps sent me one.
That's interesting. I'm gonna try it out.
Anyway, he sent me it, and you could look at it. There, I'll link it to you.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
Oh.
So I mean, of course I saw it. Anyway, Nico's great. I love her voice actress. Just does an amazing job.
Nico is so good. She's such a great addition. When the first trailer we saw her, I wasn't sold.
I was sold immediately.
I was like, oh no, this is going to be really dumb and goofy and annoying. No, she's great. She has so many good lines in this game.
Up your butt. You know what that's been? That was great.
Fucking, the sweet surrender is, oh my god, it's so goofy.
The sweet surrender's description should be in the dictionary next to the definition for subtlety. Like, because this is how not.
I mean, the last scene when they're in the van and he's talking about how he's got his regular hand back and he's on the phone with Kyrie. She's like, she gonna be surprised. Is great.
No, that scene also has the funniest moment in the game where he picks, where they're arguing over like crying, and Nero picks up the phone and is like, "Devil May Cry, fuck."
It's so good.
It's like a shitpost. It's great.
Yeah, I really wish. I wish if we do get a DMC6. I heard one rumor. It's literally a baseless rumor about a DLC story that like has no credibility, but it would be cool if we did get it. I'll talk about that in a second. But what I wish we got was, or if for a DMC6, I would want a game where we actually get to see Lady and Trish do stuff again, because like Trish hasn't done anything.
The ending vaguely like hints that they might be doing stuff now. Cause
that's what the DLC rumor is. It's called Ladies Night Out. I saw like 2 comments on it, and I saw it on a V thread once, in the DMC V thread.
Well, then it must be true.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it's literally a baseless rumor, no sourcing, nothing, but it sounds cool, and I want to believe it. So it's called Ladies Night Out, and it's Trish, Lady, and this is where I'm starting to not believe it, but I want to believe it. It's Lucia, and all 3 of them go on that mission for Morrison.
Oh. Oh, that's fake as hell.
Yeah, it's so fake. It sounds so fake, but I want it to be real. Listen,
fiction.
That thread, the original fucking thread before E3 said Dante Nero V, mysterious figure V, in quotes, Virgil will be playable, and everyone told that guy to fuck off, and he was so right. I want to believe. Maybe.
I'm not discrediting the rumor due to where it's from. It's just there's a point where a rumor is so on the nose that you cannot feasibly believe that it's a real thing.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm like, it's literally a baseless rumor.
On one hand, imagine if it was real, but on the other hand, just imagine believing that.
Yeah, I want to believe the fanboy in me is like, nah, man, it's gonna be real. Yeah. So what I want is, I was hoping Trish. I mean, Lady. I like Lady way better. She's adorable in this game, but I love how she almost accidentally kills Nero, and then she's just like, sorry.
Oh god, yeah, you reminded me to talk about something. They could have just done divine statues in this game all throughout, but instead they had the telephone booths and Nico bursting in from like the 11th dimension into random places.
It's
and
so
it's the
good.
funniest shit. Like hitting V's stupid bird while it's teasing it with a cane.
So scared that she almost killed herself once, but she didn't want to like show it to the others. That she like, as soon as they looked away, she's like, oh.
There's that one, and like the moment I saw a telephone booth in the tree in the Clifoth, I thought, no, she's not, and she's not actually gonna. And then the cutscene plays. Nero's like sleeping with some magazine on his head.
I was hoping that would come back into play, that magazine. I was hoping like at the end of the game we'd see Kyrie and he gets home, he's like, got my new arm, and they hug and the porno falls out.
Oh, that would have been too good though.
That would be funny. That's why I was a little disappointed we didn't see Kyrie. I was hoping the magazine would come back into play at all.
Listen, if Nico can just drive to the Clifoth, why are we fighting through the place? How did she get there?
Listen, we opened up the path. Well, you actually did by destroying the roots.
God, Dante and Virgil are gonna find a phone booth in hell, and she's gonna appear somehow.
God, oh man. So the what I've been thinking about since yesterday was, while I was hoping the game had one more chapter, like as Dante, to go to the Clifoth roots in hell, and it just like it ends as you fighting an endless horde, like it just like fades to black.
Objective survive.
Yeah, objective survive. That's literally what I wanted. But what would have been extreme mega level Kino, which there is no way that it was going to happen, was, okay, they punch Nero, Virgil gives them the book, they jump off, chapter starts, survive, fades in, you're Virgil.
I was so ready for the game to just tell me Virgil is now playable at the end. Like I
would have like screamed my fucking house down.
I was ready. I was sitting there. I was like, the game faded out like 5 times by that point. Like I was on a 30-second black loading screen, thinking, here it comes. It's loading his assets. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna be judgment cutting all night. This is it.
Dude, if that happened, I was like so ready. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna play as Virgil. There's no way. It's Suno, you madman. He didn't do it. He didn't do it.
It would have been way too Kino for our minds.
It would have been...
You know what? Like, Thank you, Itsuno. I preserved my sanity for that night.
It would have been like the end-all, be-all, like, how do you top this? I mean, the game was already topped. The game was fucking amazing. That Virgil fight where he goes into Majin form and he flies around and I'm perfect parrying it. And I'm like, oh! It's making the sound, and they're taunting each other, and I'm doing the kick katas with Balrog, and I'm accidentally kicking back the summon swords into Virgil's face, and he judgment cuts at me, or no, he does the fucking slash. I can't remember its name. It's not Lunar Phase, because that's with
I'm super bad at remembering the names of moves in these games.
So yeah, it's the dash where he does like 360 spins and shit, and there's like a trail behind him. I fucking did like the Dempsey roll to dodge that accidentally.
Yeah, I didn't use Balrog much, but
I
Cavalier,
love Balrog. It is the best punch weapon.
Cavalier. I thought I was gonna hate Cavalier because I'm not a fan of heavy, really like heavy bulky weapons in DMC.
I thought I would like it a lot more, but it's still good.
Shut up. The moment I went into a group of dudes with Swordmaster and Cavalier and started drifting while turning DT and juggling them.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
I was like, oh, this is good.
I'm just a little sad you can't really use Cavalier against Virgil because he's too fast and it's too slow.
Yeah. You know what I'm sad about? I'm sad that you cannot ride Cavalier through the levels.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be able to. By
I
that one trailer,
thought
it made it look like it.
I saw the Swordmaster move for Cavalier, and I thought, oh, are you just gonna be able to ride this thing? But sadly, it wasn't the case. But what a good weapon lineup, though. both the melee and the ranged ones.
Yeah,
There's none of the ranged weapons really live up to Pandora, I'd say, but the arsenal overall is, I think, my favorite one.
I actually really, this is my favorite arsenal. I mean, 3 has an excellent arsenal. Everything flows together well. I know 4, like, I don't really like 4 all that much, especially, I liked 4. It's fun to play, but I didn't like the weapons as much. I hated all the enemies. Like,
I mean, because they weren't built for Dante.
The game wasn't. The game isn't finished. The game is an unfinished game. It is an unfinished game, and I understand that. But
I'm not gonna like DMC3's arsenal was cool, but fucking Spiral and Artemis always felt to me like throwaway weapons. I never really used
There's
them
some cool Spiral stuff you can do. There's like some cool combos, but like it's very situational.
All the weapons in this game feel amazing.
All the weapons in this game flow naturally into each other without like needing Mega Brain.
Blue Rose sounds like a quad barrel shotgun.
You don't need like a Galaxy Brain. I mean, you do to do some of the crazier stuff, but you don't need a Galaxy Brain for setup like you did in 4 with Dante's weapons. Like I like the idea of Lucifer.
Lucifer is cosmic, fucking transcendent.
Using
brain.
Lucifer like effectively requires some big brain. That I do
although
not have.
this game's version of Lucifer is fast.
Yeah,
I did not use fast like at all.
That was my next point. Was the only weapon that does not flow naturally and feels out of place is Dr. Faust. It's
really?
cool.
I feel like it flows naturally, but like for people who know how to do this shit. For me, I just gave up on it immediately.
I
really didn't want to. I didn't want to waste
it so
red
late
orbs.
that it just feels like you don't get a lot of like good practice with it.
You do get the best cutscene in the game out of it.
Oh god, the dance is so good. I sent you the version with the Smooth Criminal over it.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my fucking god, I love it. But I definitely need to experiment more with Dr. Faust. On first glance, it feels like the weapon that synergizes the least with everything else, just because it's so out there. But I think I'll probably find uses for it if I just go into the lab and be like...
I'll be playing the shit out of the game.
Yeah, I'll be playing... I wanted to make a joke for my review. It's like post DMC5 depression. It's just like
there will never be anything like this again.
There will never be anything like this again until we get a DMC6 or a DLC.
Yeah. DLC 6.
We get oh dude, when we get fucking Virgil to be playable, there's literally no way that they don't make Virgil playable.
They're gonna be giving you the same character for the 3rd game in a row, and we're all gonna eat it up.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
so much shit. Literally, he is the ending of DMC Devil May Cry Virgil. Like, he has the doppelganger. He literally, it's the same colored arena, same shape. It is that game done right.
His face looks the same.
God, I just hate his face. God damn it. Oh, it makes me so mad. I don't want to be like, I hope
God
they...
damn it. Or whatever his fucking voice sounds like anymore.
I can't imitate fucking Virgil's voice.
That voice is so unique. That is a weeaboo trying way too hard to be cool, and that's
why I
what
love
Virgil
it, because that is Virgil. He's trying so hard to be cool and tough. Why did they make him look like that?
Aging weeaboo.
Why he's got too much forehead? Why does he not look like Dante? They're twins. They're identical twins.
Because apparently he didn't age in like hell or wherever he was.
But why does he look like Nero then?
He doesn't look that much like... He doesn't look
same
like either
actor.
of them. Yeah, but I wouldn't say he looks that much like Nero.
He really does. Like, you look at the faces, they're exactly the same. The only difference is the hair.
What a game. What a lovely game.
Which is why it didn't make sense to me, like, post seeing him, because I thought it was cool that they made Nero look more like Virgil, but then they made Virgil look more like Nero. Instead of just keeping Virgil looking like Dante but different. I
don't know if regarding the redesigns.
Here, let me send you. I'm sending you directly for those watching the video. I mean, this is the only way to watch it right now, because I mentioned earlier I have no fucking clue what we're gonna do for the audio only, because SoundCloud only has a 3-hour limit, which I don't remember actually if I said it. but it only has a 3-hour limit, and last podcast was 4 hours. And you need to pay like a subscription, which don't wanna to have it on audio only. So for now, we have no clue what we're gonna do. I'll look into it. Hopefully next week we'll find something that's not shitty. So yeah, those are the two faces. The first one was the spoiler I saw.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
On the YouTube recommended. And then there's the one that everybody's seen, which was the edited version of Dante from his TGS trailer that was passed around forever. But yeah.
God, I was fuck. I was
His
gonna
face
say
is
regarding
just so
the
weird.
character
He's
designs.
too much forehead. He's like
Regarding-
fucking Ash Blossom.
Listen. Regarding the character designs, I don't know if this is what they intended, but everybody looks significantly less anime in this game.
Oh yeah,
not
they're
just
going
the
for a
guys.
realistic art style.
Yeah, they went for I remember when people were worried about Itsuno saying they're going for a quote unquote hyper realistic approach because people thought it was gonna like dumb down the gameplay and be like God of War or whatever, but it was just like about the animations flowing into each other really well, and they do like on that aspect. The game is
that's
amazing.
why I really like it, because everything is very clear. Like I don't want to go back to 4 now.
I mean,
I literally never will go back to 4 once Virgil comes out in 5.
Yeah, DMC5. Well, I don't know about. I'm the furthest thing from a style beast as you can get with these games, but I can imagine some people going back to DMC4 for like its arsenal or the whole inertia thing. I don't know if if inertia in general was like an intended gameplay aspect.
It's still there. Apparently, it's just different. Like there is still. It is being made out to be a bigger issue, apparently, from what I've been hearing from style lords. Like some people are like, I want it to just feel like 4, but then other people are like, nah, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as we initially thought. There's more stuff to it. People are already finding out some crazy fucking combos I've been seeing on Twitter.
People are gonna Vape. Actually, Vape told me this, but I agree on the basis that like it sounds like a thing that would happen. People are gonna figure out some mad AI manipulation strats for these summons, and he's gonna become the most technical character in the game.
Oh, absolutely. He has the ceiling. The ceiling is there. We can not see it now because it is that high. Or no, actually the ceiling is there. We just can't see it because it's invisible. We need to build the ceiling in our minds.
I feel it's just that whereas he might be an amazingly technical character and would provide the type of gameplay not seen in DMC before and that level of style, I think in general he's not particularly fun to watch when it comes to the execution. Because again, there's only so much cool shit you can do with a guy that's standing back while his minions do the work.
He does a lot of cool shit. I just wish he had more
What
moves,
does only 3 he moves. Do? He goes in for
because
the
you're not
kill,
looking
and
at him. You look at you look at your summons. Like your summons are what you're looking at. If you're looking at V, other than to make sure you're not going to get hit, like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, but like again, I'm going off from like 2 days of this game's existence, but people are already going apeshit with Dante and Nero's combos, and they look genuinely like amazing, incredible, and you know, how the fuck are they doing this? But you see what people are doing with V, and it's like that's fine. I mean, it's kind of like nothing I thought was impossible by this point or anything. It's just them doing their standard thing but a bit faster, or like in a different way from how I did it. It's weird. I am waiting to see what people figure out with this guy. Also, another thing I forgot to just kind of bring up, the soundtrack.
That's another thing that I was going to talk about. There's a few things. I was like, oh no, we're wrapping up DMC talk, but I just remembered like 7 things I wanted to bring up. So,
go ahead.
1, is Dante's theme lower to you than the other twos? Like, even at triple S, I could still barely hear it. I was like, what's going on? Like, when you're at triple S's Nero, it is fucking blasting Devil Trigger. There is no way you miss Devil Trigger. Like, there's no way you don't hear it if you have at least even an S. Even with S or A, you are hearing Devil Trigger. With fucking Dante, you have like double S and even triple S, and I'm like, is the music playing? Hello? Where is
With
this?
Dante, maybe they're just really ashamed of Subhuman still.
Yeah. I don't mind Subhuman.
No, I like it. I like the new
There's
version.
parts of the original I liked a lot, and then there's parts of the new one I like a lot. There's a cool remix version that someone made of both of them, and it sounds really good.
I don't know if it's quieter or not. I distinctly noticed there was something different about it.
Dude, when you're fighting the trio as Dante in Mission 18, and it plays the DMC1 battle theme in a remix, I was like, oh!
Oh, is that what that was? Okay, I do not have the emotional attachment to DMC1.
I have the emotional attachment. I love DMC1. I'm fucking full boomer. I love that game. People are like, remake DMC1 with the new camera angles, which is what I actually thought years ago. But then I realized it got my head out of my ass. I was like, no, this is perfect. That game is perfect.
I did not like Mission 18 that much because I thought fighting the tree was a bit annoying due to...
Yeah, that's where I have 2 points right here that I want to mention before I forget them. One, unlike DMC4, there wasn't a single enemy that I hated fighting. Even the ones that I hated from previous game, like the nobodies from DMC1, I fucking hate fighting them in DMC1. Mainly because once you beat a nobody in DMC1, you have to wait for their fucking body to explode, and that's like 30 seconds of waiting. It's so long just standing there, waiting for them to die so the seal will break so you can keep moving forward. And if you're standing near it, the explosion hurts you. They're really annoying to fight in DMC1. Did not hate them as much in this game. The only other enemy that was really annoying was the fucking chomper thing. It's all chained up. The fucking...
Oh, Behemoth?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was Behemoth.
It's either like Behemoth or Baphomet or whatever.
It's Behemoth, yeah. I didn't mind that guy. He just barely ever touched me. He just has a lot of
like
HP.
an annoying... It's just a boring enemy to fight. Like,
the most annoying enemy to me was the Death Scissors. It's just a lot of jumping and trying to break those scissors.
I was like, there's no way they're gonna do it, but they kind of do it. It's like in DMC1 where you could instantly kill the Death Scissors and they're like trivial to fight because you just hit them once and then you step to the right and you can just one shot them. I'd have to experiment more with fighting them because you only fight them like 3 times in the whole game. The enemy variety in this game is fucking amazing and immaculate.
Yeah, there's so many dudes to fight in this game.
I don't want to go back to DMC4 now. Like I'm sorry, DMC4. You served me well for many years.
Yeah, I have had it up to here. You can't see me, but I'm reaching the ceiling because it's really low, but it's above my head. I've hit it up to here with a fucking sack boys from DMC4.
I don't mind the sack boys. I just hate fighting all the other enemies. Like, even the flying enemies in this game were not that annoying. Because normally the flying enemies are the worst in the DMC games. They're always, like, the angels in 3, the fucking Fausts, and
I like the Fausts, though.
They're so boring. Just fucking shoot at them.
I never... Really? I went in with a sword most of the time. But,
they're just so boring. I mean, at least with Virgil, which is, like, the only character I still play in for... at least with him, you just summon swords and they immediately just like lose the cloak so you can kill them and get them out of the way. But fuck, do I not want to play DMC4 ever again now? Sorry, DMC4. I got my fill. You served me well, but this game is just like.
What about DMC3?
I might go back to DMC3. I'm just a little tired of it right now because I just played it like 3 times in the last year. And I'm definitely gonna play it again because I'm still going to make the.
Before I forget about it. Another thing before I forget about it, possibly my favorite piece of soundtrack in the game besides the final boss theme, is Nico's Workshop.
Oh, Nico's Workshop is so great. It reminds me of
What
Guilty Gear.
What a chill goddamn track. It is. Yeah, I know exactly which Guilty Gear song you're referring to.
It sounds like the menu theme of Exerd.
Oh, of Exerd, yeah.
God, Guilty Gear is such a
chill
fucking... Team. I'm excited for the new Guilty Gear, only for the soundtrack because I'm not excited when Daisuke says that they're making the game more accessible and like they're dumbing down mechanics.
We'll see whatever they mean.
Whatever they do, who knows?
Japanese devs often say things that sound horrific when viewed through like the lens of Western developers. Yeah, but it's often like not too big of a deal.
I don't know. If it plays like cross tag, I'm gonna be like, all right, Daisuke, I'm about to head out.
Hopefully not. But like,
I mean,
going
I
back
don't
to-
mind cross tag, but I don't want Guilty Gear to play like cross tag.
Going back to the soundtrack, talking about Nico's Workshop, possibly one of the coolest moments I've had with a video game was just sitting at 7:30 a.m. at my place, looking at the sun outside the window and listening to that song going on while I'm just browsing through upgrades.
Dude, Cavalier's track is a fucking bop.
Cavalier Angelo sounds great. V's battle theme grew on me a lot, especially like during getting S ranks. During like getting S
I
ranks.
like Little V's cover way more than the actual version.
I did not hear it actually.
I like it more mainly because I just don't like the vocals of the.
I think they're fine. I think V kind of exudes that mid 2000 emo energy that I adore so much, and his theme song really reflects it. So I'm a big fan of that. I really wish he was his own character.
I'm very picky with vocals. Like I like a very distinct type. Like if you listen to Exard's soundtrack, anything that sounds like that, I'll love. Like I mentioned earlier, I'll link it in the description. Some fan made a remix of Subhuman using both of the tracks, and it sounds great because the first one, it sounds like the backtracking audio just by itself. Because I think the way you make Screamo work like that, and you make it appealing to more people, is not have that as the main vocals, have a more like, I don't know how to describe it because I'm not like an expert on music, but if you had a more, I really don't know how to describe it, just like regular rock sounding vocals, and then have that in the back as like the backing track, that makes it way more appealing. There's still some parts of the original Subhuman I like the very ending where he's like...
The instrumental is great.
The instrumental is still great. My only complaint, like I said earlier, is like it felt like Subhuman was way quieter than both of the other two battle themes comparatively. Like I only ever noticed one distinct part of the song. Like I only ever heard it, which kind of got grating because it just heard the same thing over and over again, which is what I feared going into the game. And I was like, if battles aren't long enough, am I just going to hear the same like fucking clip over and over and over, like you do in 4, where you just hear like the same part of Never Surrender over and over.
Oh god, I got so tired. I got so tired.
I love this song. It's a great song, but I'm so fucking sick of hearing it after
I was
11
so
fucking
overexposed
years.
to Never Surrender that it's like that song you put up as your alarm in the morning, and then when you hear it afterwards, you can't stand it. So
Yeah,
after
that's
playing
how I am.
DMC4 for so long, I cannot listen to Never Surrender anymore.
Yeah.
Speaking of Never Surrender, I asked you this before. The Divine Statue team has a very slight hint of Never Surrender in it. Like when you look up the Divine Statue team for DMC5 on YouTube, probably the most relevant track you can find, you can notice it, I think, between 10 and 20 seconds. That it has like that transition from Never Surrender that's from the piano part, and it sounds really nice. I don't know if that was intended or not, but that's what it reminded me of. Okay, the last thing I wanted to ask, and probably the last thing I have to say about the game for the time being. Would you have preferred if the final boss was Nero versus Virgil and Dante at the same time?
That would have been cool. I think
it would have been like it would have been unfeasible from like a power level standpoint, but I think it would have wrapped up the game in a much cooler way. Because you already fought Virgil as Dante just the mission before that, so you're fighting Virgil again.
I actually have a few predictions, so I still have a few more. I still have like a decent amount I want to talk about. One of my things that I was going to mention is all of my predictions I got wrong with the game. So one, I thought we were going to have more Ava screen time. We were going to talk more about Ava, which we did. Sad we didn't. 2, I thought for sure we were going to be fighting against Maj and Dante. Like, I wasn't sure, because it honestly looked like, oh, are they going to make it so he's just gone berserk now? Based on the trailer.
I'm glad they didn't go that way.
I kind of wanted them to. I kind of wanted to fight against Maj and Dante as Nero. Like I thought for sure it's like, oh, he's gonna beat your Aizen
I
or yours.
feel like it wasn't. I feel like it wouldn't be very much in line with Dante's image and character to have him go berserk and like be evil, at least even temporary or anything.
I wouldn't say evil. He's just like a mindless monster, which would have played more into the song, which was what made me really think about it. Like, based on the trailer, and then you read the lyrics of the song, like, I must control, I cannot explode.
Yeah.
Or no, I can't remember how the fucking lyrics go, but it really made me lead to believe that's like, he's fighting against the demon half that's like, is really fucking strong. And that's why he goes Majin, because I was like, I don't know, I wasn't sure how much they were going to like just directly take from 2. If they were just gonna like retcon it and be like, nah, Majin form is like fucking like it's like the when Naruto goes like fucking 9 tails in the anime, and I was just like, that's kind of what I thought it was gonna be.
Sicko mode.
Yeah, he was just gonna go sicko mode. He was gonna go sicko mode, ultimo Diablo, and just fuck shit up. And then it's like, oh god, we have to stop him before he
Dante
destroys
Rojo.
everything.
That's the stuff. But
as
what,
the game was
did you get anything right? Did
B.
you like? Oh.
Yeah, so you go back, and I think I DM'd you, or I mentioned it in Chuckle Hut, but I was like, okay, here's my predictions. V is either the spawn of Mundus again, like or Mundus reborn, something to do with Mundus directly, or he's like a part of Virgil.
Yeah, I mean, from the moment they were like, okay, this guy's name is V,
Yeah,
I didn't really. I know it's a small thing.
It's not something to be like, oh, I called it, but I was just like, that's the only thing I got really right. And then the final prediction I had, which made less and less sense as the final scene was playing out. But what I thought would have been cool, but they didn't do. Like I started believing this prediction less and less, and I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna happen. But I was hoping for was at the end. Well, not hoping, but I think it would have been really fucking interesting to see. At the end, you fight against Nero in DT, either because he's gone berserk or because he sides with Virgil and he's like, I'm not letting you kill my father.
I'm glad nobody like changed sides really in this game.
Yeah, no one really changed sides. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be like changing sides, but it's like, listen, Dante, I'm not letting you do this. And he just is like, you fucking beat Dante to a pulp. Or
technically, also nobody died. I mean, again,
all
technically,
those people at
but
the beginning got fucking
yeah, but nobody
hard.
cares. Nero was just kind of chilling, walking away.
No one.
Later.
That further shows that Nero doesn't give a fuck about anybody else with his family, because he's just like, shit's getting fucked, and they don't even warn all those people. He literally just like bumps into somebody. He's like, get the fuck out of my way, idiot. And then they got murked hard.
What a sad.
They got hardcore stabbed. My final complaint with the game, other than Cavalier and Virgil, all the bosses aren't that fun to fight.
Yeah, the big chicken was a bit of a pain because of the.
I didn't have any issue with the big chicken. Big chicken was the most fun I had with the. So I talked to this with Oz. We both come to the same consensus that we don't really like big dumb enemies that don't stagger, especially because it doesn't work in this type of game where it's all about juggling and combos, because they don't fucking respond to your hitting at all. Like the worst one is Gilgamesh, which I was shocked it was called Gilgamesh, and then they didn't do anything with it. I was like, wait, what? Gilgamesh? What?
Wait, what's called Gilgamesh?
The fucking World of Worlds alien thing. In the bay that you fight with the legs and the laser beams.
Oh yeah, oh god, that's name was Gilgamesh. All right, I forgot that was even a boss because it was so easy and stupid.
Exactly, like I don't. Artemis is also a fine boss. So like the ones
I didn't like Artemis.
Artemis. A side note, I thought I was going to be using Punchline a lot more than I did in this game. I barely used it at all.
I didn't know how to use Punchline's riding until like mission 17.
I barely used it. I used it a bit. I don't know. I didn't use it enough to actually test.
Is there a way to actually gain height with it
yes.
at all?
Circle.
Really?
There is an obstacle course in one of the levels, which is only clearable by using Punchline.
Well, that just shows how little I actually used it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's circle, but I know there's one of the moves that just lets you.
Well, it would be LB for me because I rebinded it. So.
Okay.
Well, that answers that question. Yeah, I barely used it just because the other ones were way more fun.
All of them are good. I use Punchline a lot because continuous damage on dudes while I'm wailing at them already. It's pretty nice.
That's really useful. But I used Tomboy. The least one I used was Helter Skelter.
I like that one actually too. I didn't use Pasta Breaker.
I have not used Pasta Breaker. How do I get the banana thing? Where's the banana?
Yeah, I
one?
don't know. That's the only locked one for some reason, and I don't know where it is.
I don't know what you're supposed to do. Is it a pre-order?
No, I pre-ordered the deluxe edition and I don't
did
have
too.
it. Weird. Maybe you had to buy it in Africa. Because that's where the bananas grow.
Is that where bananas grow?
Yeah, there's also some in my backyard.
Oh, do you grow bananas in your backyard too?
No, I don't. I'm lying. No.
No.
Well, anyway, Devil May Cry 5 out of 5.
Yeah, Devil May Cry 5 out of 5. So, yeah. Bosses, other than, like, Cavalier, Virgil's the best boss in the game. Such a great send-off. I don't mind Artemis, and the chicken one is okay, because there's actually enough shit going on that it doesn't bother me nearly as bad. But, like, Goliath, Gilgamesh...
Goliath's fun.
Goliath has some fun stuff at the end when you, like, actually can interact with him. Like, throwing him around with Overture... Or,
isn't it bizarre how they made you fight the first three relevant bosses with V all over again, but not with Dante at all? Because you fight there's that like bizarre section where you fight Goliath, Artemis, and Cavalier as V, but Dante
that was
doesn't
kind
get
of
that boss
annoying.
rush.
Not gonna lie, that was like the worst part.
And you have to unlock your familiars one by one.
I made the
really
stupid
bizarre.
mistake of going, I didn't realize it was going to be one by one, so I was like, let me just grab Bird first. So then I had to fight the first time with just Bird, and it took forever.
I took the Panther. It's a good game, though.
It's a good game. Yeah.
You
I just didn't like how
video games.
big non-stunning enemies are just kind of boring, because you just don't really interact with them. Like, they usually had, like, one or two things close to the end of their fights that you could, like, everybody's seen, especially for the trailer, like, when Goliath rushes at you, you could just Overture to send him flying, or, I haven't gone back and fought him with any of the new Devil Arms that I've gotten since then, so who knows what you could do with that. And you could, like, knock back his blows. I can't, like, King Cerberus is pretty boring. It's because it doesn't react to anything. You just wail on it and then dodge as soon as it starts shooting.
Much like the original Cerberus.
Yeah. Which is the same issue with 4, because 4, other than Credo, every boss does that. Like, Credo is the best boss in that game, which is the only reason you go back and play it, is
and
to
you
fight
Credo. Him once.
You fight him. You fight the best boss in that game once. Such a shame. I wish they finished that game. Could have been cool. Could have been way more better than it was. I mean, it's not bad. It's still like a solid 8, but, like... it's so disappointing because it's not finished.
Something about Virgil and rising gigantic demonic structures from the ground, huh?
Yeah, it just gets you hard. It's an erectile dysfunction euphemism.
Yeah, that's because he's erecting the buildings from the ground. Twice. He did it twice.
Dante
now.
swears in this game.
Everybody does.
Well, it makes
Dante
sense because
swears.
Dante swears because he's had enough. I love how Virgil didn't even realize that Nero was his son. He's like, "What? He's my son?" He's like, "Yeah, dumbass."
I was young once, but anyway. And then they just continue fighting.
No, he's like, everybody. No, that was Dante, and he's like, "You have to tell me the story sometime, but for now, let's finish this shit." God, their banter is so good. Their banter is fucking amazing.
It is a surprisingly lighthearted ending. Like, I thought this game was
it could have been more bittersweet.
I thought this game was gonna have a really kind of that it would be really consequential to the characterization of everyone and have like some significant development happen aside from like, hey, Virgil's back. But you know what? If everybody's cool now, I'm fine with that.
Oh, one more prediction I got wrong. I thought Dante was gonna die. I thought straight up they were gonna kill Dante off.
We wouldn't have that. We would.
I thought they were gonna do it. I thought they were gonna kill Dante.
I don't know how I would feel about that. I don't like the idea. Maybe the execution could be.
I don't know. I wasn't sure, but I was like, what if they kill Dante off? And I was talking to Vape about this, and I was like, we almost lived in the worst timeline where Ruben Langdon dies because he almost got killed recently because he was in Guatemala and got shot at because some guy tried to rob him.
I'm sorry, but you know that meme?
Oh, that fucking... the image.
Easy mode is now selectable.
Royal Guard selected, and it's like, easy mode is now selectable, and it's the crying Wojak with a gun, and Ruben Langdon with the fucking smug Wojak. Yeah. And he's got, like, the Royal Guard car door. So, yeah, the fear was... I go, oh god, Vape, we literally almost existed in the worst timeline. Ruben Langdon dies. Or no, it was Dante dies in the game. Ruben Langdon dies right before the game releases. The end credits say, in loving memory of Ruben Langdon.
Oh, don't say that, dude. What's wrong with you?
I was like, I was legit scared. I don't want that. I was terrified. I was like, no! Like, that's why I said we almost lived in the worst timeline. Ruben Langdon is a gift to this earth. I don't want anything bad to happen to this man.
Capcom's back, baby! For the most part.
Now it's time to go play RE2, because I still haven't yet.
RE2 is out, RE7's good, Monster Hunter World is apparently great. I don't like...
I wouldn't say that much about RE7.
I don't like much Monster Hunter World, though.
I don't like much of RE7.
We all have opinions. Yeah. But...
I mean, I don't think it's bad. It's just not as good as
people bring up DMC5, RE7 and 2, and Monster Hunter World, but they just kind of brush against Mega Man. They don't really bring up Mega Man 11. And you know what? I can understand that. It's not that Mega Man is back. Mega Man is like out of the hospital on an IV drip. So like
no, Mega Man's out of his coma, still in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
He's big boss at the beginning of MGS5.
So Mega Man
Mega Man just saw his X-ray and all the shrapnel in his skull and freaks out. He's like, oh god.
Listen, you'll live potentially, but we gotta work on it. Okay,
there's gonna be a lot of work. We ain't out of the woods yet. And then Mega Man looks down, he sees the shitty gear system and freaks out, and they're like, Nurse! Sedate him!
Nurse! 2X collections right now!
Yeah.
So yeah, we got the 2X
Mega Man
collections.
11 made me realize how much I prefer X now than old Mega Man.
I know you didn't like the gear system at all, and I can understand that. I was personally fine with it. I just expected Mega Man 11 to be a bit more than it was.
Exactly. Like, that's my biggest issue, is the gear system I didn't like, and then everything it is
kind of just another Mega Man game.
It is very much another Mega Man game. Almost too much of... I was going to make a review, but I was like, how do I word this without it coming off like people are going to miss what I say and take it the wrong way? Because there's a lot of stuff I liked in Mega Man 11, but then there's stuff that's like... It feels... Like, in some areas, it's too different. Like, they're trying to be too new and unnecessary innovating, where I think the gear system was completely unnecessary, and I wish it wasn't in the game.
It feels a tad contrived, but I still liked it.
So, the way I've explained it to you in the past, when we first played the game, and you're like, what did you think? It is a well-implemented system. I don't like it, but it works in the game. It's not like... in Mighty Number 9, where the dash in that game feels like they added it post creating those levels. Like, those levels were not designed with the dash in mind, to the point where you could just infinitely keep dashing over and over again and nothing to stop you. There's no way to stop you. You just can dash forever past everything, except for when screens lock you and you have to actually kill the enemies. But
isn't it the funniest thing how how introducing innovation to the classic Mega Man series means catching up to X? Because, look, now Mega Man Classic can also charge his boss weapons, and look, now he can be faster than the stuff around him. He can't dash, but look, he can slow down time.
I hated the slow down time.
Look at all these... The Robot Masters in Mega Man 11 are basically Maverick fights due to how agile and different they are in, like... appearance and abilities and everything, and
I just hated how
it's a Mega Man X light.
Yeah, it's Mega Man X Lite. It's like to go back to what I said a minute ago. It is a well implemented system, unlike the Dash and in Mind Number 9, which feels like the game wasn't made with it in mind. This feels like it was made with it in mind almost too much, to where I feel like if you're not using the gear system because you don't like it, you're a fucking idiot.
You can beat the game without a gear system. I'm not gonna say it's like impossible. It's
Not fun.
It's not even unfun. It's
Try fighting that stupid Blockman mid boss without the time gear.
I mean, you got
Try
a power
fighting
gear.
electric. What is the fucking electric boss? I can't remember. What man is he?
Fuse
Whose
Man.
man is this? What?
Fuse Man.
Try fighting
Fuse
Fuse
Man
Man where he's like,
telegraphs his stuff pretty strong, though. I
yeah,
think,
but it's still
listen,
fast.
I think if you go back to the game again, you'll change your mind at least a little bit.
probably. It is a well implemented system. I just didn't want it there. And then the other reason why, so it innovates in ways I didn't want it to, where it feels unnecessary, and then in other areas it feels like they didn't innovate at all or didn't do anything, and it's literally just copy and pasted like fucking. What is the water boss in that game? Acid Man? Acid Man stage is literally just Bubble Man stage from 9 or 10. Like, to a T. It's the same fucking... It's every water level. It is every, like, I'm in a pipe, I'm pushed against the current, there's spikes on top and bottom of the level, and I have to be careful where I jump or else I'm gonna fucking get hit by them.
That's not a Mega Man game.
It just feels like... Those areas of the game just felt like I've been here, done that too many times. And then new stuff.
That's fine. I guess I felt
like
comfortable with.
I don't hate the game. I'm just like disappointed. I'm glad everyone else enjoys it, but I'm not gonna be like, this is the worst fucking game ever. This is terrible. This is a piece of shit. I'm just like, it's all right. It's not what I wanted, but it's all right. I'm not gonna like fucking go bitch in the street that it's like the worst fucking thing ever. And it's not like.
You mean like us?
Yeah.
So
I was a little extreme with it, but I mean, I see where he's coming from, but he's a little extreme on it. I don't have as strong of a hatred for it. I'm just like, I'm more indifferent, a little disappointed, and it more roots that I've realized that because of this game, I like Mega Man X series way more.
And yeah, coming out from that, I don't know about the source of this, but I've seen it claimed repeatedly. Apparently, X Legacy Collection overall sold better than Mega Man 11.
Oh.
I don't know where, I don't know the numbers, but apparently it has passed Mega Man 11 in some relevant way that people are talking about it. I can't be asked to look up the source right now. I don't know if it's true, but there has been a significant level of interest. There has been a significant level of interest in the X collections. I mean, of course, because they're good fucking games, but it is kind of funny that they just separated them into the mostly good ones and the mostly bad ones. Yet,
Yeah.
People are still buying shit.
Buy the first four and the first collection, and then you ignore the second collection like it didn't exist.
Well, no. Ideally, I would have an X collection consisting of X1, X2, X4, and X8. Never
played 8, never played 3, so I don't know.
X3 is... Oh, God. I'm gonna make this comparison for the last time in my fucking life, but I don't know what exactly else to go off from. X3 is...
Don't say Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
Is that what you were gonna do? I had a feeling.
I don't know what else to go from on the basis of it's a pretty serviceable game and stands decently well in this series. It's just worse in a lot of aspects and a lot of like little details that make it stand below the rest of the franchise.
Yeah.
So primarily X3 has a problem with enemy placement and the damage values being all over the place. Also, some really bizarre level design and gimmicks that are extremely underutilized. Because every X game needs to have some kind of a gimmick. And X3 chose the gimmick to be ride armors. And the way you do that is you beat Blast Hornet stage, you find this like mech armor, and then you can go on and unlock the other ones, like by finding them in secret spots during stages. And the most they give you is like plowing through some enemies and helping you reach some secrets, but that's about it. And the fully charged Buster Shot in this game is pretty underwhelming because it spreads all over the place and it barely hits anything. It's a fancy effect, but it's not very good. And also adding to the whole Dark Souls 2 thing, it was made by a different studio, while the primary dudes were working on X4. And I love X4 because it's, like, despite being offensively linear compared to the other ones, the action is the tightest in the series. So, okay. Yeah, that's a game definitely worth playing. Like, if you're into, like, I'm a huge sucker for 2D melee action games, and playing as Zero in X4 is probably among the top for me up there in that type of genre, because he is super responsive, ridiculously satisfying. The levels are like built in a way that accommodates his playstyle, while like not both X and Zero feel at home with X4, which is a pretty big deal in a game where you control a ranged guy and a melee guy. X8 has a pretty solid core, but too many levels are based around roller coasters, because the game is going to be taking you like up and down and all around, with scripted sequences and weird rides and fucking whatever. It likes taking you off the whole go left and right and jump and shoot things for some reason, even though it's pretty tight in X8. But hey, at least it's not X7. I tried playing X7 once on stream to see how bad it is. I gave up an hour in because not only is it just, well, bad, but it's not a fun bad like X6. It's boring bad. And that's the worst bad you can be.
I stopped listening for a second, sorry.
Well, don't be
I stopped
mean.
listening when you talked about for a second because I was reading a message. So you were saying X7, right?
Yeah, X7 is...
It's just so slow.
It's slow and it's boring and it's like serviceable on the aspect of it's not broken. Like X6 is broken, but it's fun broken. You can do a lot of stupid shit in that game that like gives it the faintest bit of replay value. But X7 is just they knew what they were doing with the game, but what they did wasn't good. That's what's so annoying.
Yep. I'm trying to think of like fucking. I want to play Command Mission. I've watched part of the Two Best Friends one, and it's really good. But I want to play it myself.
It's again, I didn't actually play it, but generally from what I hear is it's a serviceable JRPG from like the mid 2000s. Nothing special. If you like the characters, you might enjoy it. It was made between X7 and X8, so people were getting super burnt out on Megaman X at that point, and Capcom was just shooting the shit. But, you know, for what it was way better than it had any right to be, apparently.
Yep. So, let's get into KH3 talk.
I'm gonna sit back and listen to your rant, because I know extremely little about this.
Okay, so, talk about differences in a fucking long-awaited game between DMC5 and KH3.
But you can't compare them. They are different genres.
Yeah, they are different genres. But what I can compare is technical performance. DMC5 runs like a fucking dream. And KH3 on a base PS4 can barely keep above 30.
Yikes.
That game is hardly above 30 in that game. The amount of comments that I got on my KH video that say frame rate doesn't matter. I'm sorry, you people are wrong. You people are wrong. Frame rate is one of the most important things, especially in an action game. But KH isn't an action game. Yes, it is. Shut up.
Who the hell is saying it's not an action game?
People are like, it's an RPG.
The word RPG doesn't mean anything by itself.
It is a way I've seen people just deflect the fact that their game is getting criticized, which I understand. like it feels bad when the thing you like is being talked poorly of. KH3 does not run well. That game runs bad.
I'm sorry, before we go on, RPG has probably become the most misused or completely kind of annihilated term when it comes to semantics in video games.
Oh, it is awful. It is terrible.
Not everything is a fucking RPG.
The only thing that's worse is action game.
Action game.
It's an action game.
Things die.
Yeah, he hit a thing. Like, oh my god. Gaming Brit was right where character action game isn't a genre, it's just action games with good combat.
So, right, would you call Dark Messiah of Might and Magic a character action game? Technically. I mean, it has good combat.
Genre. Character action game is a genre.
It's first person, but it's not a shooter, and it has good combat in melee.
You know what everything needs is a style rating, though. There's a fucking tweet I saw from a guy I follow that made a tweet. He's just like, everything needs a style ranking, and I assume he just made them himself because I know he's an artist. Yeah. So he's like, fucking Clementine will remember that. and like Tetris.
Yo, I would kill for a style ranking in Tetris.
Yeah, God. Tetris. I want to play Tetris 99, but I gave my Switch to my friend to borrow so he could play Smash while I was like,
that game is stressful.
It's like, listen, man, I got a lot of games on my plate. And he's like, yo, can I borrow the Switch? I'm like, dude, go crazy. This friend also bought Smash the day it came out, even though he didn't own a Switch, just because he knew I would like let him borrow it. And it's fun. So basically, I have now a copy of Smash and didn't pay for it, which is nice. But yeah, he has my Switch right now. He's been playing that the fucking Realm of Light or whatever the fuck it's called, and Mario Odyssey. But going back to KH3, this game runs like doo-doo, and I don't care. Like, I shouldn't have to buy a base PS4 Pro to make the game run at a acceptable standard of at least 30 FPS. Like, I would much prefer a game to run at 60, but your baseline, no matter what, should be it can maintain 30 FPS. The game is pretty, but it doesn't fucking matter when the game runs like shit. It runs like ass in so many areas. The only time it runs well is in small areas, which there are rarely any. Like, the first time you get to Twilight Town, the game runs fine. But as soon as Twilight Town actually opens up and you start scaling buildings with the flow motion wall run, it runs like ass. The game chugs. The game has too much openness, which makes the levels feel open and big, which is cool. But it hurts it because everything is rendered at once. There's no load screens. There's like one load screen I could think of in like per world. The only load screen in Disney World or in the Toy Story world is from Andy's house and front yard to the toy store. So Andy's house and the front yard are all one level. You could literally jump out Andy's window and you're now fighting in the street. The game does not run well. Next, there's just like a bunch of things from other games just thrown in for no reason that I'll just go, why is this even here? Like flow motion. Flow motion in that game like has no purpose. It is terrible. It is fucking trash. I was talking to another friend about this, and he's just like, did they not realize in DDD that you could just infinitely scale walls with flow motion where you just, like Megaman X, because I don't, you haven't played Dream Drop Distance, have you? Because I know you only played Birth by Sleep, right? Okay, so in this game, a third-person action game, you can scale walls Mega Man X style. Just jump, go back to the wall, hold the stick to go back to the wall, and then jump again with using flow motion. So every trial that is different, like every platforming trial in that game is completely pointless because you could just do that and there's no challenge at all. So in this game, you can't do that. Flow motion is you can't scale walls with that anymore. It goes a lot shorter range and it's way slower. So I just wonder, why is it even in the game? It's way worse. Unless I get an upgrade, because admittedly, I'm only like a few hours in. I'm like 5 or so, 6 maybe. It's just, unless you get like an upgrade, I don't understand why this is in the game. It's so pointless and terrible. The flow motion traversal thing, also clunky as hell. I've been told that later bosses, you need to use it to actually fight them properly. I'm not looking forward to that, because that flow motion and shot lock, clunky as hell. Still don't know why I would ever use them. They're terrible. This is why I like KH2 so much, because KH2 has so many options. Sure, you could just mash X and wail the fuck out of enemies, but all the other options are better. Or not better, but the other options are good in there. So yeah, sure, you could just wail on people because you think that's the best option. Technically, it's not. Spamming Firaga is the best option. If we're talking like pure statistical goodness, Firaga is the best because 1, it does the most damage. 2, it doesn't give revenge value if you don't use the finisher. So you could just queue up Firaga on one button and then shortcut elixirs and ethers, and you just spam Firaga, and you can loop enemies forever. You literally never run out of MP, and that's it. And so you could just magic. Summons are really good in that game, so you could use summons and loop people with that. There is so many options, and they're all viable. Birth by Sleep, one option is viable. The command deck, Thunder Surge. You literally just... people tell me that command deck is balanced, and I go, you're wrong. You're literally wrong. You don't understand what you're talking about. You can think you can like it. Go right ahead and like it. Like, I will never tell people they are wrong for liking things. What I will tell them they're wrong about is when they say it is better or good on a technical level, because you're fucking just wrong. There is enjoying things. There's nothing wrong with enjoying things, but saying things are good. Like, you can enjoy DMC Devil May Cry. Enjoy that game all you want. I think it's fucking terrible. But don't tell me that game has the deepest combat, because you're talking out of your fucking ass. Like, you are so fucking wrong there. So, oh god, I just started ranting about DMC. I completely lost my space of where I was in my conversation.
Sir, this is a McDonald's.
I just wanted my cheeseburger, man. Okay, yeah, I was saying...
You're behind the line. You're behind the guy in the line, and he's yelling about DMC and BBS to the counter.
You're at McDonald's with Oz, and he's yelling at the cashier about how terrible Birth by Sleep is, and I just want my cheeseburger, man. Oh yeah, so as I was saying, Birth by Sleep's command deck is fucking terrible, because only Thunder Surge is good, because it is a dash, gives you invulnerability frames, and it does the most damage. And then you craft all of your Thunder Surges with the Mana Haste, or a Magic Haste, or whatever the fuck it's called in that game, so it speeds the cooldown up of that. So then every card in your command deck is that, so they just keep stacking. So by the time you go through an entire rotation of Thunder Surges, of all 6 of them, the first Thunder Surge is off cooldown, and then the second one will be by the time you finish that one. So you literally just keep mashing triangle, and you will never, ever get hit. There is no fucking gameplay. You literally do not need to think. You do not need to do anything. You just hit triangle. I did that, and I literally was playing with one hand and eating a chicken sandwich with the other while talking to Oz over Discord, and he was just watching me, and he's like, yeah, this is Birth by Sleep. Hold on, I need to take a fucking drink because my throat is all dry from yelling.
I've seen a guy just stand in place in KH3 during a boss fight, and his party basically defeated the boss. There's a section. There was a point during the fight where the boss stood in front of the player for like a couple of seconds, just looking at them, and then went off to the side to fight his party. Sora wins by doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Also, apparently they apparently made the game easier to make it more accessible or something.
Yeah, they did. And that interview that's being translated from Ultima with I almost said Itsuna, with fucking Nomura, and he's just like, we made it more easier to be accessible to players. And I'm just like, ugh!
I understand. Okay, I understand the whole accessibility argument and everything. I'm not gonna get into that, but I feel like there's something wrong when you're attempting to make a game more accessible when it's the final installment of a long-running series that people have already became hardcore veterans of, and the game assumes you've played the other ones at the very least.
They don't in 3, and that's what really annoys me.
Really?
Because they don't at times it's okay to have refreshers, because unless you played them back to back all in a week like I did, where I marathoned every game on the Story So Far collection in 2 weeks and 140 hours. So everything was fresh in my mind. Yeah, you might need some refreshers from here and there, but literally characters talk about things, and it's just, I've been there, done that. The amount of times that they re-mention things, like, remember when this happened? Like, yeah. In the very beginning of the game, spoilers for KH Dream Drop Distance, that game is like fucking 5 years old at this point, 7 years old. So at the end of that, it's revealed that Xehanort is time traveling in a multiverse and getting 13 other Xehanorts.
That's badass.
Yeah, it's cool and stuff. But then the first few hours of KH3, maybe hour 2, they re-explain that and they're like, so Xehanort's coming from this timeline, and then that Xehanort from that timeline. It's like, we already talked about this in the last game. Why are you re-explaining this? God, I don't want to get so heated because I don't think it's that bad of a game. I just think it runs worse, which is making my experience with it not a fun one, which is why I almost don't want to play the game and just want to watch the cutscenes on YouTube in a stable frame rate from someone who recorded it on a PS4 Pro. Because as it is right now, I am not having fun with how bad the game runs. And people are going to be like, well, I didn't know. I could already see it now. I could already see the comments now. Well, I didn't have any problems with the game. Well, good for you, but I did. My game is not running well because I don't know the reason, but the game runs like shit. Frame rate does matter. Anyone who says that is wrong. I'll always take a 60 FPS game over a 30 FPS game, but at least if you get 30 FPS, fine. I'll concede there. But KH3 doesn't even stay above 30 on the base PS4. It doesn't. Anyone who says that otherwise either doesn't have the issue or doesn't see it because they don't understand at all. And I don't, this sounds really mean, I think. I'm going to be listening back to this later and be like, wow, that sounds really harsh of me. But the game does not run well.
I really hated the PS4 Pros basically become the make games run machine rather than the make games run better machine. The PS4 Pro should be like, oh, hey, you get 4K, you can get over 60 FPS, but now it's make the game run okay, and that's it.
And it makes me so angry, where I don't want to have to spend another $400 so I can play this game in an acceptable way, because your game should not run below 30 FPS, which is why I was holding off on playing it right away as soon as it came out, because I caught up a few days after the release. I finished the Story So Far collection, and I was like, I want to see if I could wait for a performance patch to come out. We haven't gotten one yet.
The DLC will fix.
Hopefully.
That's the joke. I have seen a comparison. I've seen people argue between KH3 and Devil May Cry on the basis of which series made a more triumphant comeback. Because most people are agreeing DMC5 has had a way better time.
DMC5 by a fucking country mile.
But it's
it is laughably
people comparing which aspects of the comeback were comparing the reactions, and it's like DMC5 didn't make anybody immediately go, oh, I hope they add some DLC to this. This really needs DLC right now. Because it did, but not in the way KH3 did. It's DMC5
I haven't finished the game, so who knows? I've heard the final hours of the game thematically are amazing, and I don't doubt it for KH3.
What I heard was essentially people are hoping for DLC for KH3 to finish up the game, whereas people are hoping for DLC for DMC5 to add more cool shit for you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's
the only reason I want DLC in DMC5 is because I want to do more, not because I don't think the game is finished. But granted, I have not finished KH3 yet. I probably won't by next week either for the podcast because I don't enjoy playing it in a subpar way. But the comparisons are there, not one-to-one. There are some story beats that are similar. It's an action game, so anything with melee combat, there is a baseline. Of course, there's going to be differences between the two, but there's surface level things that are applicable to both of them. That are like combat standards, I would call them, combat floatiness, combat responsiveness, the crunchiness of combos, and the feedback response from hitting enemies. The one thing that's driving me nuts is, so for those who don't know, there is like drive form equivalents based on keyblades in this game. They're called like form changes, I think, if I remember correctly. Your Kingdom Key's form change after using its melee for a bit just makes it feel like a diet KH2 combat. So like you could blur your eyes and tell yourself that, yeah, I'm playing KH2 and it's kind of KH2 but not really. Why does the whole game not feel like that? Why is the good combat feel locked behind a fucking form change that's time limited with a single keyblade? I mean, I understand people are just gonna don't care, just really care about the story, which is understandable. I think the story's fine so far. That's like the best part of what's kept me driving. Like the Toy Story level is so fucking fun. I love like messing around in it. Like it doesn't play well like frame rate wise. Like being in the mech suit runs like shit. What's surprising though, which I did not expect, is the finisher with Buzz and Woody, where you ride the rocket from Toy Story 1. That runs smooth. That has like a fine frame rate, which I was not expecting at all. That runs good. That looks good. I was expecting that to be like a fucking slideshow. Yeah, but there are applicable comparisons between the two. Not one-to-one, but like baseline combat stuff that like KH3 still doesn't get. Like Osaka Team still doesn't get. Like, no, it is not fun to fight enemies that don't respond to you. No, it is not fun to be kept in the air because for some reason swinging in the middle of the air makes you lose all momentum and just keeps you stationary. Literally, you could just stay in the air forever in that game. You do not need to touch the ground. You could just completely stay in the air. There is nothing stopping you. Combat has like no weight. It's disappointing.
It always looked that way to me. Again, I did not have too much exposure to this game, but it looked very pretty. But I kind of stare at the combat and think, this just looks like so many ways to do the exact same thing, and everything deals so much damage that it doesn't really matter what you're doing. Like, it's just press button to roller coaster and things die.
Yeah, oh, I hate all the fucking, like, summon the thing. The roller coaster, the go-kart, the pirate ship, the, what the fuck is it called? The chariot for when you use the Hercules Keyblade. The Hercules Keyblade's finisher thing is the worst, because the fucking camera just shits itself because it decided, hey guys, instead of zooming it out really far so you could actually see what's going on as you ride the chariot around, we're gonna give a front view of Sora in the chariot so you see from behind him in a way that doesn't help the game at all, and it's so confusing, especially when you use it in tighter areas. It just shits itself and can't do anything. I'm gonna have a video playing on screen right now for the for something I recorded while playing the game. And so here, I want you to watch this, Rada. That is the combat in a nutshell. You do not need to touch the ground. You literally can float. All you have to do, for those who don't watch this or not looking right now, all you have to do is swing, air dash, swing, air dash, swing, air dash. You do not touch the ground. You do not lose momentum. You do not lose height. You do lose momentum because the fucking swing stops all momentum, so you do not fall. You can literally stay in the air forever in the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
magic is so
look at him go.
Magic is so ridiculously broken. Like, I think there's a way to just have a fun combat system and it to be deep. Like, KH2 did it. KH1 did it. KH1, little bare bones, little rough going back to it. The camera, not that good. Combat, a little on the sluggish side. But there is a way to make it easy and fun to learn and rewarding and difficult to master.
Man, this game is really pretty though. Holy shit.
It is very pretty. It is a gorgeous fucking game. I love the new art style. It is amazing. Everybody so far has brought their A game voice acting wise. I don't like Kyrie's new voice actress.
That's okay. Nobody apparently in the production team likes Kyrie.
Nobody likes Kyrie because she literally hasn't done anything in the entire game. And from what I've been told, she doesn't do anything in the rest of the game.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kingdom Hearts.
The game is. I love the new art style. I loved all the scenes where it's Sora, Hayner, Pence, and Olette interacting with each other. They're all really fun. Like every meme that the series is known for is in this game, in the and not in a good way. Like, sure, it's endearing when they're like Sora, Donald, and Goofy, but every fucking world does it. Every single character says it. It's Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
It's
every
all three
world.
of them at once.
And I've been told, spoilers, skip this time code on the screen. I'm gonna write this down right now for myself for a note later. Fucking skip to this So, skip to this on this time code that's on the screen right now. And so when Ventus gets brought back...
I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, you're not seeing anything. So when they eventually revive Ventus, he even says his stupid line that he said in every world to every fucking character in Birth by Sleep, where he goes, "My name's Ventus, but you could call me Ven." You know, I mean, you didn't finish Ventus' story, but he says that in every fucking world.
Good for him.
It's charming the first few times, like the Sora, Donald, and Goofy thing. But when you get to Hercules' world, and Hercules goes, "Oh, look, it's Sora, Donald, and Goofy."
Hey,
and then
Herc,
Meg
long
shows
time
up, and
no
she goes...
see.
And then Meg shows up and she goes, "Oh, look, it's Sora, Donald, and Goofy."
From Kingdom Hearts TM on the PS2.
Yeah. And then you get to Hayner, Pence, Olette, and then Sora goes, "Hayner, Pence, Olette," just like Roxas did. And it was actually refreshing when Hayner sees them and they're running from like the Heartless, and he's like, "Hi, Sora, bye, Sora," and runs right past them.
Hi Sora, hi Donald, hi Goofy, bye Sora, bye Donald, bye Goofy.
They then do that once they you beat the Heartless, and they're like, "Sora, Donald, Goofy, welcome back." And I'm just like, oh.
It's a game for kids.
Oh. It's
Kids
like
game for babies.
I really hate running gags. I'm sick of them and everything. I don't know if you've ever read or watched Beelzebub.
No, but I know what it is.
The Shonen Jump manga, for those who don't
Yeah.
know. It is Beelzebub is a guy. I want to say his name is like Oga or Oma. I think it's Oga because he's like the fighting ogre thing, like some fucking weird shit. Anyway, so there's so many fucking running gags in that show that I just can't stand. Like their one friend, his like one friend is like a huge fucking piece of shit. And they always reference and make joke like every episode about how he's a piece of shit. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, the stupid Shivers kid, where he's like, "Shimimeru!" I'm so
Did you
glad
know
when
they
that
gave
show-
him a Bavarian accent in the dub?
Did they really?
He sounds like this all the time!
That's so awful. I'm so glad I didn't listen to that fucking dub. I hate how her name is Zuzu Boyle now in the dub.
I have a friend who, every time somebody brings up dub names, he goes into a friend that has a friend who goes on a tirade about why some dub names are chosen over certain sub names. For example, Zuzu Boyle is actually a reference to Susan Boyle because of her melodious themed deck. And okay, my man, that's very cool, but Zuzu still sounds absolutely fucking stupid. You cannot
Zuzu
convince
sounds
me
stupid,
Zuzu is a good
and
name.
it's dumb. And it's dumber when every character that's in the main thing is Yuya, Yuto, Yugo, and Yuri, and she is Yuzu.
You mean Zuzu?
I think you mean Zuzu.
Although changing Gongenzaka Noboru to Gong Strong, you know what?
That's pretty funny.
Not even mad.
Not even mad. What is George Gore? That's pretty
George
funny.
Gore is fucking hysterical.
But Go Izuka is a
it.
terrible fucking character, and he's a piece of shit, so I don't fucking care. VRAINS is bad.
It's really funny to just say Go Izuka's entire name. I don't know if VRAINS is bad. I dropped it like 6-7 months ago. Although I do see the screen caps and some of them are funny. For example, the guy, the passed out dude in an aqua dolphin costume or avatar, is really like just
Or
a
the skull.
funny
People are
image.
sending me the Skull Servant one.
Yeah, the skull servant is just in a shot for some reason.
I see all the Go Onizuka memes because we fucking know Mr. Go Onizuka himself.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he's so terrible. God, Go Onizuka is such a fucking terrible, lame character. He's such a lame-o. They try to make him so cool. People think he's cool, and I'm like, you don't know what cool is. Please stop telling me things are cool.
I'm sorry, this character doesn't have fans.
Remember, Go Onizuka, the great hero, cool hero, who had a tirade, a little boy temper tantrum, when Playmaker was cooler and more popular than him. So then he had a big bitch fit in the middle of VRAINS and challenged him for everyone to watch so he could be more popular. What a hero.
Again, I don't follow VRAINS anymore, so I...
That was episode 2.
No. That's not what I'm gonna talk about. I don't follow VRAINS anymore, so I don't know where some certain character arcs are going. But from what I've seen, it looked 100% like they were setting up Aoi to fight against Go Onizuka. Because with Aoi, they're going for a whole, like, defeat makes me stronger type of deal. Whereas with Go Onizuka, he's letting defeat crush him and change him. And making the two fight to contrast the change and how like the two of them deal with it and which one perseveres in the end would have been a very like cool piece of characterization and would actually.
But then you have to remember that this show is
commendable.
marketed to 10-year-olds to sell cardboard.
So Go
why is there
Onizuka
no
fights
writing?
Playmaker again. And then
Yeah,
he
so
loses and then
Go
he's
Onizuka
gone.
emaciates himself and then activates Brain Hack Sicko Mode Level 10 Ultimo.
And then sets a card and passes turn.
Yeah, dude, revolutionary. He had to activate 100% of his brain power to do it. Go Onizuka, the fucking genius of our time.
Maybe they'll do something about this like whole defeat victory deal in the third season, but I don't follow anymore, so I don't know. There's been speculation that the final fight in the season 2 is going to be Revolver versus Lightning, because apparently, spoilers for VRAINS, beep beep, Playmaker is gonna pass out after his duel with Hot Dog Man, and I don't know if that means he will lose, but if he actually does, and Playmaker's first actual loss in the series is against Hot Dog Man, it's gonna be hysterical, just in hindsight. Because
Fucking Hot Dog Man.
he's... apparently he's, like, according to the episode description, he's holding back because it's his friend. But still, if he loses, it would be really funny that of all the characters he fought, of all the master cyber terrorists, lifetime hackers, and pros and shit, Hot Dog Man takes his, he pops his lost
takes the
cherry.
W.
Yeah, takes the W, that's the one.
Good.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime is dumb.
Shonen anime is bad. Stop
Shonen
watching
anime
it.
is
Everybody, please stop watching it. It's
Stop
terribly written.
telling us that Hunter x Hunter is good. Don't do it.
It probably is. I watched it at the worst possible time of my life, where I was so burnt out on anime. Not anime. I was so burnt out on shonen as a genre that I didn't enjoy myself at all, and I powered through it.
I know better than to listen to people who vehemently tell me a shonen anime is the peak of anime. Because I've listened to people telling me to watch Hero Academia back in the day, and wow, it's Naruto in real life. Apparently, manga's getting better though, so good for it though. I just
stopped.
I'm not the type of dude who blames a piece of media on its fan base, but usually when I'm reading a long-running manga, or especially if it's a shonen, I'm gonna want to interact with the fan base in some way. And knowing the My Hero Academia fan base, I would rather not approach it with a 50-foot pole.
Yep.
So I got no time for shonens, man.
Yeah, I don't enjoy shonens. I don't enjoy, like I mentioned last week, I don't enjoy anime anymore. Just because, like, it always disappoints me. And that's my fault. because I have high expectations and I expect things to be good. I wouldn't say I have high expectations. I think I have a standard that's like, if you can't reach this, don't come near me. Don't like.
Okay, elitist.
Yeah, elite. I mean, I don't go and fucking post on A anymore about how things are terrible.
Stop
But
having standards for a minute, God.
you just ignore all the bad parts and enjoy the good parts, and then you'll like it. Just pretend things aren't bad, and then they're good. Oh my god!
Oh my God! You fixed Devil May Cry 2.
Dude, I ran into a Devil May Cry 2 defender the other day.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, how does that work? I can understand defending DMC, like, you're still probably dumb for doing that if you're trying to convince me that it was genuinely a good
DMC,
game.
Most people who defend DMC, Devil May Cry, defend it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. It
Like,
was
like every fucking journalist defends that game, and I don't understand why.
Nobody brings up anything good that game actually did. All they do is, oh, the characters in the story were actually really good, and the combat was satisfying. I don't know what they mean by combat was satisfying.
They always use I don't want to be like buzzwords, but it's always buzzwordy. They're always like, the combat is so deep, it's the deepest in the series. What are you talking about? What are you on about? You're wrong.
It's the
There's
only DMC
color-coded
game.
enemies.
It's the only DMC game they played. Pixel May Cry from that dude that made the Attack on Titan Flash game. Anyway, but yeah, the Devil May Cry 2 is genuinely just a bad game. How do you actively like defend that?
Because, like I just mentioned earlier, they literally said, if you just ignore the bad things, then it's good. They're like, I'd much rather just ignore the bad things and just focus on the good things.
Okay.
They were like I remember they were like, people were complaining how terrible the helicopter boss fight is, and then there's
Nothing better than a Devil May Cry game than platforming, right?
God, the platforming in 5 is also pretty bad because the camera is just not having it because those areas are way too tight.
Did you know Devil May Cry 2 is not the only game with an infested helicopter boss?
I'm trying to think where else is there.
Serious Sam 3.
Oh, I thought you were talking about DMC. I was like, what?
Oh,
Where?
no,
I'm like,
it's not the only Devil May Cry game. I mean, it is the only Devil May Cry game with an infected helicopter boss, thank God. But, Serious Sam 3 has an infected
They could have made it
chopper.
cool in 5.
I'm sure 5 could make anything cool. It would probably, like, transform into an organic mech amalgamation that would, like,
Well, I was
walk on
thinking
two
it'd be
legs
more like
and
you had to,
attack
like,
you with a
ride
propeller.
Ride the fucking... What's it called? You'd have to, like, ride the rockets back at it and all sorts of crazy shit. Like, you wouldn't be able to fight it normally, because if you fought normally, it'd be lame and boring, which it is, and that's why it sucks in 2. But, like... The game is also just fucking slow. Like, if you had, like, 5s or 4s speed and run around and, like, jump on the rockets and redirect them and, like, fucking Royal Guarded shit back, or... Like, it would have to be, like, an environment boss fight more than, like, actually, like, fighting head-to-head, which I know people probably wouldn't like it, and it probably won't have any replay value, but the first time would be really cool.
You have played through the first half of Serious Sam 3, right? Because I know you reached the desert.
I guess. I don't remember. I mean, I went, like, I got, like, 5 missions in, probably.
Have you fought the chopper? Do you remember that?
No, I definitely did not fight the chopper.
Okay, time for me to talk about Serious Sam, unless you wanted to bring up anything else.
No, I think I'm good.
Alright, cool. So, Serious Sam by default is a series where...
Oh, actually, hold on. I just saw something that I want to bring up.
Damn it! Foiled again.
So they just... Xbox One X revealed a DMC5 edition where it is the book. It is V's book.
Oh, that's good.
And the controller is V's tattoos all over it in white.
Just open up your Xbox and start reading Shakespeare poems out of it.
That actually looks really fucking sick. It looks so cool.
Oh, right. Thank you for reminding me to do this joke. You know what I'm gonna do, right?
No, I don't.
So, when you're reading the book with V, and then you summon Nightmare, you know what you should say? Now that's what I
Nightmare.
call slam poetry. And then if your TV hears that, you're instantly getting an S rank.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks. I said it to myself when I was playing and I was really sad nobody else was in the room to hear it. Oh wait, fuck Serious Sam for a moment. Google's gaming console controller revealed.
Oh yeah,
What
it's
the fuck is
hideous.
this? What the hell is this? This is like one of those fake Xbox 720 controllers you saw on YouTube back in 2008. Oh god, this is hilarious. I love it. But why does Google have a gaming controller? Are they making a console?
I guess maybe.
This button layout is disgusting. The whole thing looks so clunky. The D-pad is just like a whole ass thing. It looks like it's gonna sink within the first 2 months of playing. Wait, do you have a picture of it, or should I send you?
I have a picture of it. I know what it looks like.
Alright,
I'll have
good.
it up on the screen too. It's fucking ugly.
Yo, you get a little van for the Xbox edition.
Yeah, I mean you get a little van for all the collector's editions.
Oh, okay. Damn,
I
I
do
wish
want the
we
van.
had those over here.
Yeah, I
Although
was
I
hoping
could-
more for a statue.
I could probably go to the retail store place here and check. So, Serious Sam for a moment. You told me you didn't like 3 very much, although you just played one
was
half.
bored.
That's the funniest thing about it is the first half is literally a fucking different game from the second one because they were initially making a tactical squad-based military shooter, and halfway through, somebody pointed out, this fucking sucks. Just make the rest of the game Serious Sam. So they repurposed the first 5 or 6 levels into a Serious Sam game, but it doesn't work because Serious Sam by default should be you against literal hundreds, thousands of dudes at once, just running at you in a straight line one at a time. Well, not one at a time, but there's a lot of them basically. But no, instead you get a lot of really narrow, annoying corridors, hide and seek missions, dark, damp dungeon places that have no place in the series. And like the epitome of this is the chopper boss fight, where in a fucking Serious Sam game, you're taking cover underneath like small Egyptian buildings while there's a Cthulhu copter in the sky just periodically firing at you, and you're trying to find a rocket launcher, and then you find it and then you fire like 5 times at the thing and it dies. And it's a fucking joke, but it is the funniest thing to just repurpose a game to be something completely else that was never meant to be. Bless you. And I'm wondering what it would have turned out like, because a Crow team has a knack for making things out of their comfort zone, if Talos Principle is anything to go by. But Serious Sam 4 doesn't look very good, at least based on what we've seen. It was only the alpha
Have we even
footage.
seen anything about
We've
it?
seen alpha gameplay, and it very much looks like an alpha, but I feel like they're not gonna go anywhere like in a good direction for the series with this, because first of all, it's another prequel taking place before Serious Sam 3, so
Why
that-
exactly?
I don't know. I'm sure you can do a lot of stuff with the gameplay and like exploring big open, well, not exploring, but just fighting on big open fields, and making it as a Serious Sam game from scratch as opposed to repurposing a military shooter is gonna do wonders for it. But so the Serious Sam story has kind of been in this limbo ever since 2005, where Serious Sam 2 was so stupid and weird that they're essentially eventually gonna remake the game and retcon. They're gonna make another Serious Sam 2, but it's gonna be a completely different game, and it's gonna take the last Serious Sam 2's place in the canon. And they're swerving around Serious Sam 2, which is like the last chronological game in the timeline. They're swerving around it like a black sheep, like a cat on the road, if you will. because it's generally considered.
Is Serious Sam 2 or bad?
It's not like. I wouldn't call it bad, and some people argue if it's the worst in the series because some people really, really don't like 3, but it is the most different one. It is the one that stands out the most.
Why is it different? Because as someone who's not familiar with Serious Sam,
the tone, like first of all comes to mind. The first Serious Sam games, the first and second encounter, were kind of mostly down to earth. It was a Duke Nukem type of character, but not as reliant on quotes from movies and stuff. Nothing really outstanding in that regard, but Serious Sam 2 was borderline juvenile. It was like the Croatians' idea of what Americans find funny.
oh, I love that shit. I love watching really shitty. Like Best of the Worst has a segment, or not a segment, but they had a ton of episodes where they just watch like movies of people who wanted to make Hollywood action films, but they're like fucking weirdos from like Croatia or like China, and they know nothing about American culture. So they just make some random nonsensical action movie, and the comedy makes no sense. Oh, it's great! I love that shit.
This is Slavs, and not just any Slavs, Croatians, the most eccentric Slavs, attempting to make something heavily based around what they imagine to be American style of humor. And you can just watch a compilation of Serious Sam 2 cutscenes, because there's a lot of them on YouTube, to get the faint idea of how this game handles jokes. Like, for instance, there's a point where Sam says, what have we been doing so far? Playing a video game? And then Pac-Man shows up on the screen and eats some pellets, and then they keep talking. And that's supposed to be like a joke. And it's like, okay, thanks for that. Yeah, it's a video game, nice one. Thanks, Irate Gamer. And Serious Sam 3 is, I say this a lot, but it really is the case. Serious Sam 3 comparatively is what Croatians think Americans find cool. There's a section in Serious Sam 3 that I thought was the sickest shit back in 2011, when he's being called by an alien to let him know that he's the last human on Earth, and he's about to get destroyed, and Sam replies with, and I quote, "Oh, it's not over until I teabag every last one of you alien motherfuckers." And you just know they wrote that with full heart, imagining it's the coolest thing anybody could ever say at that moment.
Oh god, they definitely think.
And you know what? Absolutely. Thank you for that, Crow Team. But Serious Sam 2 has a lot of issues with like enemy placement. There's a lot of level variety. The vehicles are cool to use. It's not a game like not worth playing. Like if you're going through the series, it's very much worth experiencing, but it's just really kind of the enemy counts are lower. A lot of the encounters are annoying. There are some enemy types which are a pain in the ass to deal with. And Crow Team generally doesn't put it in collections, not only because they're trying to retcon its existence out of the series, due to the story, but also because I imagine the engine is not really friendly with modern systems, because they made an HD remake of the first and second game, which is like the first and second encounter, but Serious Sam 2 didn't get that makeover because it's so drastically different from the others. I'm gonna make a video about the Serious Sam franchise when I eventually start a gaming channel. God knows when the fuck that's gonna be.
You mean just switch your channel to the gaming channel? Don't start a new channel. You're literally throwing
away
money.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much out of shit to talk about because my week consisted of waiting for Devil May Cry 5 and then playing Devil May Cry 5.
We didn't even mean to have this podcast. We were gonna save it for next week.
We're thinking of maybe doing it bi-weekly just so we'll have more shit to talk about because we don't like cover news.
This is still an experimental phase.
Yeah, I mentioned how
I ended up going with someone's comment about what the title, because they said Schmo Show, and I was like, that sounds fine. So that's the working title for now until we come up with a better one, or if someone else says something funnier. Next week we'll have questions, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we want to answer questions. Do we want to answer questions?
I mean, if there are questions, why not?
Sure.
Wait, were there questions? I didn't know this.
No, I didn't. I did not. I'm gonna set up an email. I'll include it like a note at the end. By like I'll have like a post recording for it. So I guess send in questions. And yeah, do you have anything else to talk about, or do you want to just wrap it up here?
My voice is breaking, and I got nothing else to talk about.
Let me look at my Steam library and see if I played anything else.
Don't. I wanna go.
What?
Don't. I wanna go.
Oh, you want to actually end
I'm
this?
fucking around, just to do whatever.
Okay.
But if we end it in the next 14 minutes, it's below 3 hours, and you can put it up on SoundCloud.
Yep. So, what you can look forward from me if you care about my videos. Number 1, the DMC5 review. I have no idea how I'm going to format it. Yeah, that's going to happen. Hopefully in like the next 2 weeks, maybe 3, depending on how many times I replay through the game to formulate deeper opinions on gameplay mechanics. I wish I got it out before DMC5 came out, which was So You Want to Get Into, where I talk about all of the side content. Like, I would go through all the books and the anime and talk about them. Just like, what's canon, what's not canon. It helps definitely more now that I've played 5, because I know what is canon now, or what is made canon for the books. Like, the first book, Tony Redgrave's canon, Nell Goldstein is canon now. For the anime, Patty and Morrison are canon.
Is there anything like super weird in those books that's effectively canon now?
Not that I remember.
Dang.
There's the comic book that had like 3 volumes or chapters, or issues. I think it's issues. It's the fucking comic book term. I don't know. I don't read comics really anymore. There's like some preamble before 1 starts, and it's kind of weird. Like, it made Dante seem more like Dino, if I remember correctly. It's been a bit since I read the comic. But that's not canon, because they changed up some shit in it, if I remember correctly. Like, they changed some order of boss fights. I think he fought, like, Nello. I want to say he fought Nello Angelo as soon as he got to Malay. Some
no,
weird
you
shit.
did not. It was a bit further off in the game. It was a couple of hours in.
No, I'm talking about in the comic book.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, like, he gets to Malay Island, and they, like, fight. I want to say he, like, fights Nello, like, right away, or sees him or something. You also see some shit from Trish's perspective, which was kind of cool. Didn't really add much. But then the company that was making the comic got bankrupt due to some shady bullshit from their publisher. So, that only has 3 volumes, or 3 issues.
There are some... God.
I have not read the manga, but I know there's the manga for 3. I think there's like a spin-off manga for 4, and there is now a manga coming for V.
Oh, that's cool. But like,
so we'll see, like, Adventures of
you
V.
reminded me, a lot of Capcom games would get promotional spin-off mangas back in the day, and Mega Man Zero actually had one going on, and it was going like through to the games for the first volume or so, or the first few chapters, and then it turns into like a juvenile, like D-Team Zexel type of styled shit for kids, and it's a really weird tonal shift because Zero is really dark and broody of a series.
That's like the Ratchet and Clank manga, which is like
yeah, exactly.
slapstick and weird, about. Like fucking.
It's really bizarre.
Like Ratchet pisses and shits and comes in his pants multiple times. I'm not even joking. Clank wants to kill himself at one point. They like break a porta potty, and Quark is in it for some reason taking a shit. Like it is like elementary school potty humor. It's kind of funny. It's really weird and jarring. Like I remember like Clank falls in love with some chick he sees on TV, and he's like, her boobies make my soul hurt, or something like that. He says something so stupid and like This would be like the funniest shit if I saw this and if I was still in middle school and like a fucking edgy teenager. Let me find the fucking exact image. Let me It's fucking weird. Yeah, like fucking Ratchet like fucking pisses himself in excitement multiple times for like some weird reason. Oh yeah, he like uses fart attacks at people, and like it's odd. It's so. Clank literally just like pulls a gun to his head, and he's like, because he becomes like so in love with this idol on TV. Let me read the.
Did they just read the description of the game from the back of the box?
I have literally no idea. He's like Ratchet goes like, "What's up with you, Clank?" He goes, "It hurts to look at her breasts," and he's crying because she's so beautiful.
Fuck, dude, same.
He like buys all her merchandise, and yeah, Ratchet goes, "Give up, she'll never fall for you." And then he pulls out a pistol and puts a gun to his head, and then Ratchet's like, "No, don't do it, Clank!"
Oh, this sounds great.
It's fucking wild, dude. It's so bizarre.
Oh, wait. Okay, I just found out about this. Did you know who voices Crew Cut in DMC5?
Isn't it Patrick Seitz?
Yes!
Or Trev? I was like, it sounds like Patrick Seitz.
He's also King Cerberus.
Yeah. God, I love Patrick Seitz. He's such a fucking good voice actor.
Yeah. We better wrap this up before I start talking about Toho. You don't want that.
I mean, you can. We can keep going.
God, Yugi's fat Oni titties.
Okay, we're ending it here.
Bye-bye, guys.
Okay, see you next time, guys.
Hey, everyone. It's post-production Cvit here. For the emails, we'll be using the email schmoshowpodcast@gmail.com. A link for it will be in the description below. For the audio-only version going forward, I'm going to be putting them on SoundCloud. If we end up going over the 3-hour limit for SoundCloud because you need a premium subscription or something to have it that, what I'm going to end up doing is just splitting them off in like a natural section, and I'll make notes of it. In the audio-only version, they'll be in a playlist, so you can just play them back to back, and hopefully this will work out well. We still haven't decided if we switch to weekly or bi-weekly yet, so keep an eye on Rada's Twitter, maybe my Twitter. But anyway, thank you for listening if you made it this far to our podcast. We're still in the growing phase of it, so there's a lot of just weird figuring shit out. But I hope you're enjoying, and see you next week or the week after.